Yeah, I think it's bogus personally. Like those players that don't want to wear it, they don't wear it. You slap them with a penalty. Those players gotta understand that. Like, hey, we're in Canada, we're in North America. Um, it's for everybody. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast. Before we continue, we dropped our tier list video on ranking our NBA teams. Make sure you guys watch it if you haven't already. We also want to thank you guys for the support on that video. It's definitely our most viewed video, at least in the first couple of days. And then before we continue, for those guys watching on YouTube, we added some more decorations to the wall here. A Blue Jays pennant, a Colts pennant, and a Man United scarf. Those of you guys that don't like those teams, too bad. but
Sucks to suck.
but yeah,
All right, but before we begin, as always, comment down below your opinions and thoughts because, again, we got some draft stuff to talk about today.
free agency stuff,
Or just a bunch of stuff. Off-season, NBA, NHL, you already know.
soccer.
Yeah, soccer transfer news. But also, we need you to hit that subscribe button because we know you guys love the sports content and we upload something for you every day. So please hit the subscribe button.
All right, without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with the NBA, like we always do at this point. Just because the draft already happened, we had a major trade went down. So let's recap the draft. First off, your prediction was dead wrong about being the best draft
Bro,
ever
it was
because it was such a dead draft.
It was
Not in terms of players. That has nothing to do with the players that got drafted. In terms of like the
out-
trade rumors and all that.
yeah, the outside noise was just like a lot, right? Zion getting traded, Dame getting traded, or whatever it was.
The big
right?
one was Dame at number 3. What
And
happened to
then
that?
obviously whatever the Raptors were gonna do, and then what Pelicans liked Scoot Henderson, so they wanted to trade up. It was a
It was
bunch
a
of
lot
stuff.
of pre-noise and nothing happens like always usually for drafts. I think.
Yeah,
But the other thing that pissed me off, those stupid draft hats in terms of picks getting traded.
but they announced it so late. Like why
And
did
they
they
announce it late, right? Like NFL and the NHL and the NFL, they both announce it like right before they make the pick, and the team that does the pick does the pick.
Like, they make it so
It's so
complicated.
annoying because like when we were watching it, I think the first trade that happened was Bilal Koulibaly. He was picked by the Pacers, but he was actually traded to the Wizards. Like
Yeah,
Wizards
before
moved up
the
one
pick,
spot.
before the pick even
And
happened.
then who was the guy that the Wizards ended up drafting? I'll double check that. But he was supposed to be a Pacer.
I think it was like Jarris Walker
Jarris Walker, yeah, Jarris Walker. And the same thing later on
with the Thunder
Derek
and Mavs.
Lively and
Yeah.
Kaysen Wallace. It's like, bro, just get the pick announced properly. Give the guys the draft gear. It reminds me of when the Lakers made the AD trade.
Yeah.
We traded the 4th overall pick, which became DeAndre Hunter, and he was in Lakers gear, but everybody in the world knew the AD trade happened.
It makes no sense.
And then
Like,
on top of that, not even just that, like I remember when Danny Green, when we traded him to the OKC Thunder, so he was an OKC Thunder member, and we'll get into this in the Chris Paul trade, because he's right, and Danny Green was officially not a Sixer till like a couple of weeks before the season started, like 1 or 2 weeks. So it's
it
like
makes no sense.
I don't know why the NBA does this. It's kind of weird. If there's a reason, comment down below. We might be missing something. But yeah, the draft hats were so confusing because I was explaining to my buddy at work, and he was just like, "Yeah, what the hell? That makes no sense."
Like Kaysen Wallace got drafted by the
OKC.
Mavericks,
Oh yeah, like
but it was actually OKC's pick.
yeah.
So we're like tripping out. Like, what the hell is he supposed to wear? Like, does he be happy? Like, yo,
I think he
do they know? Do they know?
Not maybe not. I think when they get their phone call, that's when they know. Right before they get Adam Silver makes the pick.
yeah, like what?
And then Monica McNutt ends up telling him after, like, when they meet Silver and then Adam Silver, and they go meet Monica McNutt for the interview because it's ESPN broadcasted. And then she would tell them, like, okay, well, you're wearing case on Wallace's case, you're wearing a Dallas hat, but you're actually going to be the member of the OKC Thunder.
That's even more stupid because the Thunder called you up, right? Does the Thunder call him? The Thunder called
I
him.
think both teams or something. I don't know who calls them. I can't.
Bro,
quote
like
on
if the
that.
Thunder call you up and you go up and wear a Mavericks hat,
It's weird.
then you have the
there's
ESPN reporter
there's
telling you-
There's a clip of Derek Lively just sitting there with both the hats, and then when Adam Silver announced the trade, like what 5 picks later, then he switches the hat. It's hilarious. It's like Derek's like, okay, it's official now. I can switch the hat. So it's like it's weird because your moment of your life is meeting the commissioner, and you're wearing the wrong team's hat. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Yeah.
So like, yeah, the NBA I think needs to fix that. It's just like do what the NHL does, then do what the
Yeah, like NFL and NHL.
NFL does. Like
It's just so much easier to follow.
you're on the clock anyways. Make the trade and then just announce it. Kind of like what Houston Texans
and
did.
also like it
the
makes it
Houston
more
Texans did
exciting
that with
that
Will
way.
Anderson. So.
It makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
Like makes it more sort of like the commissioner comes out. There's been a trade.
And then Woj or
And we're all like, oh, what's the trade? What's the trade? What's the trade? Right.
And then Woj like announces a trade right before it. Or even like right after it. So it's like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, no, that I just wanted to get off my chest. It's just confusing that way. But I guess, okay, let's start off with some fun facts. This is a draft at the end of the day. Like I said, the draft was bad, boring in terms of no movement. But in terms of the actual draft, there's some history made here.
Yeah.
Or like history in a while type of thing. So the first one was the first overall pick, no shocker, Victor Wembanyama. He was the first overall pick that's college, American college, like overseas guy. Since 06, which was your team, the Raptors drafted Andrea Bargnani. So that was one. The next one was 4 of the top 5 picks were non-American college picks. So Victor Wembanyama went first. He was obviously overseas from the French league, I believe.
Then Brandon
Miller went to Alabama, so he was the American college. Number 3 was Scoot Henderson, G League Ignite. And then 4 and 5,
Thompson twins,
Amen and Ozar. I'm hoping I said that right. Azar. Thompson went Rockets, Amen, and Azar went to the Detroit Pistons. They were both overtime elite teams. So it's like it's showing that the NBA doesn't have to be a college-based thing. So NCAA obviously with the NIL, there's a reason why they added the NIL because there's many other options now with the G League overseas and all that. And sticking with the Thompson twins, they went back to back, like I said, and they were the first brothers to go in the same draft back to back. And then the last one was Chris Murray was one. This is not history, but he was one pick before. So his twin brother is Keegan Murray, plays for the Sacramento Kings, who was last year's like 4th pick. So the Kings are the 24th pick, but Trailblazers were the pick before, and they ended up drafting him, and then, which we'll get into the draft, Sacramento ended up trading the pick away. So
yeah,
but yeah, those are some facts. Those of you guys wondering, but let's start off. No surprise for the first pick. Not really surprised for the second and third pick. 4th pick, not really. 5th one, that was the first surprise. People had Ozar Thompson going like 7th, 6th, 7th. He ended up going 5.
Yeah.
To Detroit, especially when them having Jaden.
5 was supposed to be Whitmore, right?
Yeah, so Cam Whitmore was the first big surprise. He fell all the way
to like 21 or 20, around there.
20th, and he went to the Houston Rockets.
So who got a major dub?
So they got Amon Thompson and Cam Whitmore, right? Let's start with Houston. I saw reports that they're going after like half the free agency class because of the but like James Harden coming back. They need a vet for sure because you have Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., Kevin Porter Jr., Kenyon Martin Jr. Now you added Amen Thompson.
Alperen
Sengun, who I'm pretty high on. Cam Whitmore, right? Like they don't really have they traded away Eric Gordon, right? And again, they should definitely go after a vet to help them with a young core here.
Yeah, for me, they're kind of like the way the roster is building out was like the Atlanta Hawks with like Trae Young, like John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, like all those young guys.
Yeah.
And like, these guys have the pieces to either make like a big trade, or add in a vet piece, and they got a little bit better for sure.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. But the fact that you got the 4th pick, which was Amen Thompson. I don't know if it's Amen or Amen Thompson. I think it's Amen Thompson, right? And then you got the supposedly 5th pick at 20th. Yes. Yeah. Like, what, his interviews weren't great?
The reports that I saw were some injury concerns. And, the interviews didn't go well, / workouts didn't go well. So like there's 19 teams that passed on him.
19 teams that passed on him. Yeah, there's a reason why they passed on him. But, like, the talent is there. Yeah. Right? And that's what matters.
The school's Villanova. And Villanova's normally, like, Jay Wright's a really good coach down there.
Yeah.
And Villanova, I know they didn't make the March Madness this year, I believe. But usually they'll be, like, a top 8 team every year, right? So
yeah, they're very consistent.
You got players like Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, guys like that playing there. So yeah, that was like for me, Houston doesn't need to go after big name hunting. They keep the young core, even move. We could package eventually one of these guys pick to get a bigger piece, like I've said OKC should do, and they don't. They could just bring in like quality vet pieces to their roster, and obviously, and then they could just guide them, right? Because that team is way too young. They need a vet for sure. So, and I don't know if it was, I think it was JJ Redick who made a joke. He's like, "Call me up. I'm ready. 1 year, whatever, 2-3 million. I'm ready to come in to be that vet." As a
Bro,
joke.
you're old enough to be a vet.
Yeah.
I'm still young enough, but you're old enough to be a vet.
I'm not NBA though.
Huh?
So you saw me play ball today. I whacked my head on the post.
Bro,
but
so like I don't even know what the hell you do today.
that's fine. We don't need to talk about that.
Nah,
Right?
nah, nah. It was embarrassing.
Nothing. I was under the hoop and then
They just ran into
I
the.
just ran into the.
You just fell into the pool
Yeah.
and hit the ball. The ball hit under the hoop.
Yeah. Anyways, enough about that. But let's go back up to the second third. Obviously, there was a funny clip of Charlotte's mascot. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
So when Scoot Henderson got picked,
Yeah.
I think everybody was anticipating. Sorry, when Brandon Miller got picked,
Yeah.
everybody was anticipating Scoot Henderson or something.
Yeah.
And the Charlotte mascot, there's a viral video. It's just like him going like, and like a Adam Silver announcer, he goes like, Brandon Miller from Alabama, right? It's like, now for those of you guys watching, for audio listeners, I just put my head down. Essentially, that's what you guys should check that clip out. Charlotte Hornets. He just put his head down in disbelief, like, what the hell? Why did we pass up? And I get it. It's like you want to at the we'll talk about it when we get to the NHL draft. Do you draft for talent or do you draft for need, right? And Brandon Miller's a capable player, so that's why I thought the pick was fine. I don't think it was like a bad pick, but it definitely could hurt him in the long term if the legal issues that Brandon Miller has comes back to bite him. / if Scoot
Just
Henderson
production
just pops
levels.
up.
Yeah. I don't think it will be a bad pick if like Scoot's better than Brandon Miller, but as long as Brandon Miller's good
enough.
it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
I said that for me personally, as like last episode, I said the Hornets can't go wrong in my opinion. Right?
Yeah.
Like they pick one or other. I think Scoot was the better player, right? But then if you pick Brandon Miller, he's just a better fit.
Yeah.
For you guys,
It's
right?
like Scoot. You
And
could,
it's not-
you could trade one of them either way.
You know, so
Scoot
there's
or
a-
LaMelo. Let's just say LaMelo Ball wants out. You have the backup in Scoot.
Yeah, but like you know how there's a trade off, right? Like in everything,
Yeah.
a lot of things, right? Like fit or need.
Yeah.
There wasn't much big of a trade off here.
Yeah.
In my
it's
opinion,
fine.
right?
But yeah, no, that was a funny clip though. You should check it out too. But
The Hornet.
yeah.
I don't know why they're getting upset. Like there should be. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I think Shams also. There's like big things going on with Shams too. He tweeted out that it's supposed to be Scoot Henderson. Remember I was telling you?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think Pat McAfee also said he bet on that, but the opposite ended up happening. And people are obviously, I don't think Shams is like in big trouble or anything, but they're saying that Shams probably purposely did that because he works for FanDuel sports betting app.
Oh.
So that's another thing because he's on those like the show by Beetle. I forgot what it's called, but NBA show on it. But let's move on to the third pick quickly. Scoot Henderson. So this was the big thing. What was Portland gonna do? And they obviously ended up making the pick. Dame Lillard. There's reports coming out that his camp isn't too happy. At this point, we already talked about Dame last episode. Don't need to talk more about this Dame thing. Like I said, Dame, ask her a trade. Like if you're really that mad now, ask her a trade because it's best for all parties to move on at this point, in my opinion. Just Scoot Henderson's a potential superstar if everything works out, and Dame Lillard could move on, and you trade him. You could get more assets for Dame, right? It's not like he has a no trade clause with Washington, but yeah.
Yeah. Scoot's gonna be a good player. I really like Scoot, and even the fit with him.
He's also a good defender, so I didn't know that much.
The fit with him and Dame Lillard is good, right?
Yeah.
But if Dame leaves, it's not like Anthony Simon's like a great defender too, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously
they ended up making the pick at 23 for Chris Murray.
Yeah, so they'll have a
solid wing piece.
They have a young backcourt, right?
Yeah.
Other than Dame, right? Like
Shaedon Sharp is there as well.
Yeah, so like
Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian, and then you got Anthony Simons, you got Scoot Henderson, you got Shaedon Sharp as your guard rotation.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we'll see. I'm intrigued. Obviously the Dame watch is on, but that watch has been on every time. But usually in the past, it was more so Dame's like, nah, I'm not leaving. This time, Chris Haynes, I believe, has been saying that, watch out for this saga now. Let's see what happens. I hope a trade happens. We love off-season moves like this. NBA is known for this.
But how much is it like Portland getting rid of Dame or Portland bringing in someone?
Like, well, how are you going to bring in someone, realistically? Who are you gonna move?
I know, but like just knowing Portland, like what if they
Like,
just?
are you gonna move next year's first and Anthony Simons? That could only get you so much. You're not getting a star player, like
Yeah, I
superstar
know.
player.
I know.
You could get, yeah, sure. You might get a Pascal Siakam or an OG Anunoby. Maybe an OG Anunoby more than Pascal Siakam in this case, but or if you look on the other things, like you're not getting Mikal Bridges out of that.
I know. I'm just saying, like knowing what Portland is, and how they like.
They like to do that.
They like to do
This
that.
is where I'm telling Portland, move Dame.
Yeah.
Right? And again, the loyalty talk comes up all the time, and I want Dame to win, but there's a certain time limit for it. You experienced it with DeMar, right? So it is what it is. We'll move on from this because you could check our last episode on our Dame.
We
thoughts.
talked about it enough.
Yeah, it's too tiring at this point. We'll see when something happens. You'll probably hear us bring it up then. But moving on, this is the next intriguing thing for me was the Orlando Magic.
They
had 2 picks at 6 and 11.
Anthony Black and Jet Howard.
Jet Howard, not former. What am I saying? He's the son of former NBA athlete and current Michigan coach Juwan Howard.
Yeah.
Both are guards, so they're definitely guard heavy.
Very guard heavy.
Jalen Suggs. Okay, we want to correct our mistake. RJ Hampton just got waived with the Pistons. You know how much we didn't watch Orlando because we didn't even know he got waived by Orlando. So he's not on that roster. But you have Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, right? And now you have Jalen Suggs. So you got 3 guards already. And now you add 2 more, and Anthony Black is a point guard type. So someone's on the move. And there were reports that Jalen Suggs could be on the move. And obviously Suggs didn't pan out. You obviously experienced it. He was supposed to be a Raptor. People were calling Raptor idiots.
That worked out.
Clearly you guys made the better pick in Scotty as of right now.
And then about obviously Orlando's front court pick about Paolo's working out pretty good.
Yeah.
Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, like he had average almost 20 a game. Could have been an
all-star.
all-star.
Rookie of the year.
Yeah, rookie of the year.
He was absolutely killer.
But who's on the move here? Like Markelle Fultz has like a rejuvenated year now that he's healthy. Now obviously he may not have been the Markelle Fultz that was heavily
number 1
that
overall.
caused the Sixers to trade up for him. But when he was healthy, he's been balling a little bit there. Are you gonna trade Cole Anthony? Is it Suggs? I saw reports that Lakers were linked to Suggs until Lakers picked Jalen Hood-Schifino, which we'll get into later. So there's no point there. And I forgot to mention this last time when we were talking about Boston, when the Marcus Smart trade happened. What about Boston, right? He's a young guy, I get it, but you're under the leadership of Brad Stevens. You have
Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah, he's still relatively young, but like you still have some Sam Cassell's there now. Who was the other guy from? What's his name? Charles Lee from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Right. So, and Suggs is gonna be the 5th option there. Not even he's not even an option there.
Suggs just needs to he
could just be there. He could be what he did well was play defense. He'll fit that system perfectly.
It's
there.
just
and he could play make. That's his biggest.
It's legit. It's
key.
like defense. It's like a quarterback system.
Yeah.
Right? Defense and don't turn the ball over.
And he's, from what we saw in Gonzaga, obviously great playmaker, great passer. He was a quarterback, to your analogy there. And he could play defense well. So if he's your main ball handler, him and Derek White in the backcourt, why not, right? He's a low buy. It's not going to be like you have to give up multiple firsts or anything. You might even get rid of 1 or 2 seconds, throw in a Peyton Pritchard who wants to leave himself if you could sign and trade him if he's a free agent and move on, right? That's a perfect spot for me because Suggs' skill would complement their pieces.
One spot I like is the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Because CJ is their point guard, and it's not working too great for me. So adding in Jalen Suggs who could play make, get the balls to the star players like CJ, Zion, Ingram, and then if Zion's on the court. Yeah. And then play good defense as well because defensively they need a little bit of help, right?
I mean, Herbert Jones has been killing it for them over there, right? You have Jose Alvarado, but yeah, no, I agree with that pick. If you're the Magic, would you trade Suggs or would you trade Cole Anthony or would you trade Markelle Fultz? Who do you think will give you the biggest return?
Biggest return?
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards.
And would trade that because of the biggest return?
I would just trade whoever gives us the biggest return. I'm just trading up.
Would you give up on Suggs this early? 3 years? This is gonna be his third year.
This is gonna be his third year, yeah.
Because coming out of
they might even trade
coming
two
out
people.
of college, he was supposed to be the 2nd overall pick after Cade.
Yeah.
Was it Cade? Yeah, Cade.
For me, I'm leaning towards Cole Anthony.
Because he's more of a 6-man role too.
Yeah, I feel like Cole Anthony will get the biggest return.
Because now that I added Anthony Black, you have that skill set of Jalen Suggs there. Maybe Suggs does give him a bigger return because he's still, you want to
Like
bring that
young, right?
upside, right? I'm looking at the younger teams on top of my head. Yeah, Pacers have Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, I think the Pelicans make the most sense, and then I think the Celtics make the most sense. And he's in a winning culture. Maybe that helps drive him. Gonzaga's a winning school, and look what he did there, right? Obviously, NBA is a different animal, but at the same time, you're part of that winning culture.
It's being on a good team obviously helps.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's something to keep an eye out for sure. If you're looking at a trade market, I think some the Markel Fultz, Suggs, or Anthony One or both two are moving, right? Jet Howard obviously isn't a point guard. I believe he's more of a shooting guard, small forward. So there's that, and he was a surprise pick. He went pretty high up as well. But
Yeah.
moving on, let's go to the trade.
Mavericks.
Yes, the Mavericks and the OKC one. So Cason Wallace for essentially
Derek
Lively, and Dallas did good business.
I really like Dallas
because
because
they needed a center, interior presence, and he was like college player of the year and defensive player of the year.
Defensively, yeah, yeah.
Duke. You know, you're coming out the Duke culture, and then on top of that, before I let you go on, you traded away a bad contract in
Davis
Bertans, right?
Yeah.
And obviously Dallas made another move later, which we'll get into, but
that's what I'm saying. This is the
first of two moves they made, and you bring in an interior presence who might end up starting right away for them or slowly ease them in, and you traded down, so you also got another asset in return.
Yeah, which was getting rid of that contract.
No, yeah.
Yeah, and then the second one, Canadian. They made a trade for a Canadian in Olivier Maxence Prosper. Omax, right?
Yeah.
So
don't know much of him, to be honest. I'm not gonna say anything, but
I heard his name a few times in college.
Yeah.
But the fact that you were able to what you finished off with, and you were able to have this successful draft where you added in a big need with Derek Lively.
And they also added another piece to that.
And who was the other piece?
Rashawn Holmes.
And Rashawn Holmes?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, so the fact
Rashawn Holmes like does good in the first wherever he stops for his first like 1 or 2 years, and he kind of like falls off a bit. But it's a center.
It's a center, right? And then with Derek Lively, right? And you needed like a defensive big too, right?
Yeah, Derek Lively.
Derek Lively fits that thing, and you added in the first round pick with Prosper.
Yeah.
So like that's just really good business by them. Obviously we don't expect them to be back in the same position that they were this year, especially if they bring back Kyrie Irving. So it like for how they did when they were here, when they're not even getting a great pick because they just missed the playing spot, right? It's not like they were a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
So they did well. They did really good.
Yeah, like people are saying that they should trade that pick to help Luka now, similar to the Dallas situation. Maybe, yeah, they still might make a trade. They created some space, the trade exception there. But before we get into the OKC, then like you brought up the Kings. They cleared up some space now because they gave away Rashawn Holmes for that 24th pick, right?
Yeah.
They were big game hunting. Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby were 2 guys on their list. Bradley Beal was on their list. And I'm sure there's others. So that young team already, you know, we put them in our, spoiler, put them on our A tier for a reason in the tier list because they went above and beyond, right? And now, I don't think this is a one-off, right? Like I said before in our first episode, that this Kings team reminds you of your Raptors team that first made the playoffs. They will be there.
Okay, like, yeah, De'Aaron Fox is good.
Domantas
Sabonis is good. Like, Sabonis has been proving it, even in Pacers. Because Pacers made the playoffs a few times, too, right? Fox, we were expecting, like, Fox was playing well.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, he had some off moments.
Yeah.
But the Kings around him weren't great. So, like, it wasn't Fox.
Malik Monk.
Fox wasn't going to carry him. They got Malik Monk back after that incredible year with the Lakers last year.
Yeah. That shows that Charlotte's a shitty situation.
Yeah, right? Because Malik Monk legit was the best Laker player last year.
Yeah.
And then now he's like legit 6th man of the year candidate for the Kings.
He's a bucket.
Kevon Huerter struggled a little bit, right? But he's still a good solid pickup.
Right.
And then obviously
Keegan Murray had a great rookie
year. Had a good rookie year. Harrison Barnes.
He's the replacement they need.
He is a replacement they need.
Can you get like that? That's where they're trying to upgrade like OG Anunoby, be a perfect spot for him there.
Like OG will be perfect. If they should be back for sure, especially if they had OG or Pascal Siakam.
That front court duo pass.
That front court duo will be
complement Sabonis' defensive struggle there, but yeah.
Yeah, like it will be like the fits are there. The only question mark, say they get past Siakam, right? The fit is there, right? You would agree?
Yeah. I mean, they'll be losing some pieces because obviously
but like
want some pieces in return.
Yeah, but the only question mark I would have for that team, because on paper to me they will all complement each other well, is like who will step up being the number one guy. Like it has to be De'Aaron Fox, but Ken Sabonis.
I mean, he was clutch player of the year, right?
Yeah,
I think it was the Jerry West award or whatever. I forgot the word, but
like
yeah.
The thing is this, but like you have three guys that could step up and play like a number one guy in any game.
Yeah.
Which is De'Aaron Fox, Siakam if they get him, and then Sabonis.
We'll talk more about this on Wednesday's or Thursday's episode, just because that will be the episode right before free agency starts, and we can see what other trade target is, right? But let's go back to the finish off that part of the trade. OKC, I love it for them. You got the Kentucky boys together, and Shea and Case and Wallace. Case and Wallace was linked to you guys at 13.
Yeah.
And some teams around there. They comped him. Like, he said his favorite player is, like, he likes to model after is Jimmy Butler. And he's, like, we're talking about Derek Lively's defense in terms of rim protection. He's, like, people are saying that he's, like, the best perimeter defender. And, like, he's got clamps, right? Like, he's a hustle player, clamps. He has offensive firepower on streaky modes. Their main comp was Drew Holiday, and we've seen how Drew Holiday is defensively, especially, right? Very underrated, not talked about enough by media, obviously by NBA players. You've heard Kevin Durant say Drew Holiday is probably the hardest player he had to go against. So if you're getting that comparisons, and Shea himself is really good defensively, he's a good two-way guard.
And
then you have Lou Dort, who's a lockdown, and we saw him in his rookie year what he did to James Harden in that bubble series. Chris Paul on that team.
1, 2, 3.
Right, and this helps. Guess what? Casey Wallace doesn't need to start right away because you have Josh Giddey. So that's where I think with the fit, it's kind of weird. But when you're on like matchup roles, Coach Dignall, I'll look it up in a second. But you give Shea more freedom because as good Shea is defensively, Case and Wallace could take those tougher matchups and Shea could flourish even more offensively like he already did this year.
Yeah. Obviously, it has to be Shea and Giddey, in my opinion, to be the starting backcourt. But with Case and Wallace coming in and providing that defensive boost, because defense for me is hustle, right? Mostly, like obviously there's technique and stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But if he
Mark Daynault, I don't know how to pronounce it, so sorry for butchering that. But yeah, continue.
If he just comes on and the defense doesn't fall off, right? Subs in for like Lou Dort or Shea or whatever, and the defense doesn't fall off, that's scary because those clamps are going to be essential for Shea, like you said, because if it's easier on your best player if he just has to worry about the offensive side, and the defensive side obviously don't be asleep.
Yeah.
But you don't have to guard their best player.
Yeah, like Case and Wallace doesn't have to come here and be the guy, right? Like you have a guy there, you have Giddey there, right? Chet Holmgren, keep in mind, is coming back, right? Like he's like not Victor Wembanyama, but close to it. I guess like a more of a bootleg version. No offense, and like I don't mean that in any offense.
I mean, if you're bootleg Wembanyama, you're a good player.
Yeah. So, So that being said, like I'm excited to watch that team if they make moves or not, because that team will be fun to watch. Like that's a team that I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out on.
That's for sure.
Moving on, let's go to our teams. 13th, Grady Dick, Raptor player.
Got a 6'7" dick to the Raptors.
Okay.
All right.
Like the pick? Hate the pick?
All right.
Does that mean you're rebuilding? You were on a rebuilding rant.
I don't think we're gonna rebuild just because the Raptors are the Raptors.
Yeah.
Grady Dick. Is he the best player available? Probably not.
Cam Whitmore was there.
Exactly.
But he was slotted to go in that range, though.
Yeah, he was slotted to go in that range. Yeah.
Like that 11 to 15 range.
I wanted a guard. Obviously, I didn't say enough for like the shooting side because like I was focused on getting the Fred VanVleet replacement.
Yeah.
Like a cheaper Fred VanVleet because I didn't want to bring Fred VanVleet back for
pretty much what the Lakers took.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And like get a point guard that will just like handle the ball.
Yeah.
And then do their point guard stuff. And obviously scoring was also another need for Raptors.
But shooting was also a big
need.
Scoring,
shooting.
Yeah.
And then Grady Dick is the best shooter in the draft.
Yeah.
So like
you could argue him or Jordan Hawkins.
Yeah, like the fit is there for sure.
He's on a winning culture.
Kansas, yeah.
Right, and
I don't know, like he made 100+ threes in the season.
But it's like 40% on volume.
40% on volume, and it's not like 6 attempts. It's not like it was like just catch and shoot, right?
Yeah.
Like he could do it off the dribble, like not like create his own shot, but like
he's definitely more threat of a catch and shoot for sure.
Yeah, he's a catch and shoot.
Perfect spot, like,
but like it doesn't have to be like balanced. Like you could make him off balance.
Yeah.
Like if you like do one dribble, step back.
Yeah.
Like he could do that, but like he's not gonna be like a full on shot creator like how we have like.
He's more
Steph
of a sharpshooter.
How's it? It's more Klay Thompson.
Yeah, that's what I think Michael Grange was saying. Yeah, no, for me, it's like when Pascal's in that post and you have a reliable 3-point shooter right there when he's on the court, right? And the thing is, let's see what's happening with Fred. Like, we don't know who your point guard is at this point. Like, to your point, I mean, you have an undrafted free agent, but I doubt 5'8" Marquise Noel will be that guy, even though he killed it for Kansas State. But with Grady Dick, it's like, it doesn't. I don't think they're gonna rebuild now.
They're not rebuilding.
Again, that could be surprised. We'll see what offers comes out. But yeah, like he fits a need, right? Like, let's transition to the Lakers now. That's someone I was targeting. Remember, I was saying more shooting.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting Jalen Hood-Schifino, which is someone you're targeting. So we literally swapped. Like our team swapped.
Yeah, it's not like I wasn't against because like. I wanted a point guard to replace Fred because I did not want to play.
Were you surprised that you went shooter, or were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised because honestly, I didn't know Grady Dick's game. I didn't know he was the best shooter in the draft.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right.
I knew he was the best shooter in the draft because that's what I was wondering.
Obviously when you saw the highlight package they played after he gets picked, right? And then I was like, all right, this guy obviously fits us. We need this, right? We need that Klay Thompson type of guy. He's not gonna be our Steph Curry, but he's gonna be Klay Thompson, right? He's big, like he's 6'7".
6'7".
He's a guard. I wanted a guard.
His
right?
defense. You're saying that his defense isn't the greatest.
It's not, but his hustle is there.
Yeah, his hustle's there, but he isn't like that lockdown.
Yeah, he's not a lockdown, but his hustle is there.
Fred.
And him being 6'7", he could actually finish at the rim.
Yeah.
Right.
If he adds that to his game, you have a coach that's good at player development, right? So we'll see with that. But let's transition to the Lakers. Jalen Hood-Schifino, which is something you kind of targeted for that Fred replacement. And, for me, like, I was looking at Jordan Hawkins, who just got picked by
the Pelicans,
which is a good fit for them if Zion is playing. And Keontae George just got picked, too. Like, he was more of a shot creator for Utah. And obviously, Grady Dick went off for you guys. Jalen Hood-Schifino, from what I could tell, is like, first of all, he's vegan. So, vegetarian, baby.
Let's go.
But, he's already taken care of his health because a lot of NBA players like Chris Paul transitioned when he went to OKC to vegan. I don't know if he still is though, but he fits that point guard we need, right? Like the Lakers in the past few years, is this going to be a hit of a pick? We will find out how he will. Like I said, development is a key part of this, right? It's just because they're a top talent doesn't mean they're resulting in a top pick.
And you guys shown like with Caruso, with Reeves.
Those are undrafted guys.
Yeah, no, but like you shown that you could develop players.
Taylor Horn-Tucker, second round pick.
You could develop players. That's what you
Kyle
shown.
Kuzma, like who's a 27th pick or something like that.
You shown you guys could scout players and develop players.
This guy could be that D'Lo replacement. Like he's good defensive. He's probably better than D'Lo defensively as a talent. He's not a 3-point shooter, which is where he needs to work on his game a little bit more. But he's a good mid range and he's a pick and roll guy. We have Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's gonna come out and put him as a starter, right? But I think we bring back D'Lo or Fred or whoever is gonna be available. But you have that guy under their wing. Like he would be a guy that I would love to bring Fred VanVleet and him to watch. And he's 6'6", I believe.
Yeah,
he's a big guard, huge. Right?
That's like Shea
if
size.
He pans out and then we bring back Reeves, perfect pairing backcourt right there, right? Like obviously we don't know what's happening with LeBron next year because Bronny's in the draft. But for the time being, so I like the pick. Can we pan out? Also, he's a Laker fan. Kobe jersey in one of his picks. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch him. Summer League's going to be fun. Max Christie could take a step forward as well. He had a decent year when he played, so...
Yeah, I think Wemby said he'll play a couple Summer League games as well, right?
Yeah.
So it'll definitely be interesting watch. I don't know about
Well, the reports were before he wasn't going to play. Then he said he will play, so I don't know. He'll probably play one game and then shut him down. That's what they did with Paolo, so...
That's what they did Paolo, right? Yeah. Because Paolo went off too, right?
And then Zion, he got hurt after the first game or something.
Zion got hurt.
Yeah, he'll play 1 or 2 games max, and then they're going to shut him down. You're going to see what it is.
They just want to let him go off one game,
Yeah.
Just let him get a little feel of something.
So, yeah, no, I'm excited for that pick. And we also made a guy that was supposed to go late first, Maxwell Lewis. So, from Pepperdine. I heard Pee Wee the Plug from Through the Wire talk about him a lot. He was saying that's a steal of a pick for sure. But we don't need to go too much. I think I don't know
Yeah.
later on picks. I don't know too much. Obviously Cam Whitmore we talked about a little bit. The fell. Do want to talk about one thing though.
Yeah.
These college player of the year players.
Oh yeah.
Right?
We were talking about this.
These traditional centers,
So you got
especially your post players,
Drew Timmy, who's
don't
like
get drafted.
Drew Timmy, didn't get drafted, bro. If you
Oscar Shibwe,
ask Oscar Sheboy and then
Sonogo from
Sonogo or UConn who won,
yeah.
I obviously the game's changed. We know that, right?
And here's a perfect example for you. Jaleel Okafor went 3rd overall in that draft class.
Yeah.
Right? We picked D'Angelo Russell. I was going for Jaleel Okafor.
Yeah.
Jaleel Okafor's killing it in Europe somewhere or overseas somewhere. It shows like the quality of game has changed, right? Like you see Joel Embiid and
like
Kat and Jokic killing it.
It's like the quarterback position in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like now quarterbacks need to be mobile, right?
Yeah.
They need to create plays. Before, like we had obviously
Manning.
the Manning, the Brady's, Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, right?
Breeze.
Breeze, these pocket passers,
Yeah.
right? They're all retiring
Now it's
because the game is like
Evolved.
improvisation.
Yeah.
Now, right? Obviously, you got to make pockets. You got to make passes when you're in the pocket. But
There's a reason
how
why
often?
there's a reason why the Colts picked
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson.
How often are you gonna
Yeah. So like with the current NBA,
Yeah.
essentially it is like you need to be like Miles Turner.
Yeah, you
Like,
need to.
at the minimum level
Yeah,
that could stretch the floor. Even you
You
don't
need
need
to
to be a
shoot.
defender. Like Mike Muscala's in the league for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it
but like
sucks because like
Drew Timmy's a bucket in the paint. Like his
in the paint,
footwork
but
is
the
impeccable.
problem is the paint.
Yeah,
That's the problem. Like he's liability elsewhere. Like
But-
obviously,
but, like, no.
you're gonna get like
Yeah.
UDFA spots, which he did in the Exhibit 10 contract with the Bucks. Oscar Shibwe with the Pacers. I don't know where Sonogo went, but yeah,
no, but like watching Drew Timmy play, like if he's playing to his level in the
Yeah.
NBA, he's a player that could draw a double team in the post.
yeah. I don't think his game relies on the NBA, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's tough.
That's why,
because-
like this year's Player of the Year, Zach Edey, Canadian, 7'4", but the difference is his 7'4" and Wembanyama 7'5" are completely games.
different. Yeah,
Like, he will work. These guys will work best in FIBA tournaments, which is why I'm happy if Zach Edey could polish his game a little bit for FIBA reasons. If he wants to play there, or like Olympic, like Canadian basketball reasons, right? So yeah, it's definitely keep an eye out for it because like Jaleel Okafor's out of the league in like 2-3 years.
Question for you: if Brook Lopez didn't change his game, would he be out of the league?
Probably. I mean, if you would have to be like Dwight Howard or JaVale McGee, you would have to be a vet guy, DeAndre Jordan. You have to be a good vet guy then, which I think Brook Lopez would have been,
Yeah,
and play defense, which
And Brook
all
Lopez
those three
can do.
guys I've named. Obviously Brook Lopez, but like Dwight Howard. There's a reason why him and JaVale McGee are on our championship roster in the bubble, and then DeAndre Jordan is just there for vet purposes.
but how much is like, is it good? Isn't it good to have like a unique player,
that's what I'm thinking. Like that's why I'm
like off the bench? Like
I
he doesn't have
hope-
to start for you.
Like I hope what's his name works out. Oscar Shibwe if he ends up staying in Pacers,
Yeah,
right? Because you have that guy that could be in the paint when you need it and getting boards. Like you need well, here's the thing. Drummond's in the league because he's a specialist, which is rebounding. That's
Yeah.
his main specialty.
yeah.
So if you're a complete Andre Drummond's arguably one of the greatest rebounders of all time. You need to be a specialist in that position then, or shot blocking.
Would Shaq dominate the league right now?
See, I don't. That's
Like
the tough
it's
part.
hard, right?
Because Steph Curry changed the game so much to the point where the Houston Rockets were that team that missed 27 straight threes. Now I'm happy it's moving back. You're seeing a lot more of the mid-range game back, right? Otherwise, DeMar DeRozan would have been useless.
yeah,
You see Devin Booker, Anthony Davis,
because like
Kevin Durant hit the mid-range shot.
you missed the bully ball game, right? The
Yeah.
physicality. That's one of the
But the
reasons
problem is,
we
like,
watch.
again, to your point, it's Shaq. Give him the ball. Who's gonna
Like,
stop him?
Who's gonna stop
The
him?
only thing I would stop Shaq is free throws. That's it.
Yeah. So it's hard to say because the game's changed so
And the
much.
defensive end, we don't know what would happen
Like-
in that case. But
Cab Skyhook should be good in today's game too.
yeah,
Like he should be averaging as much as he did back then.
especially with like supposedly foul calls and all that stuff too. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's tough to see because like obviously these guys will make a career overseas most likely or in the G League, right? Unless you're a big specialist, unless you develop your game like you said, Brook Lopez. But the difference was Brook Lopez was already in the league, so he knew what to expect. These guys are not getting the opportunity. Goga Badatsi is not even in the league anymore.
Yeah.
Or if he is, he's like G League
He's
minutes
not
and
playing.
stuff, right? So yeah, it's tough to see. I hope it works out for these guys.
Because
But
they're
yeah,
good.
but
They're good players. They're really
they're
good
good players
players.
for a reason. But
Yeah.
there's a reason why they didn't get drafted because that's what the league is at now. Unfortunately, that's what it is.
Like
But
it's not diverse enough now.
yeah,
Before it used to be what all like uh paint players, but now it's like you gotta shoot the ball.
yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the biggest news of the day outside of the draft, which happened earlier in that afternoon around noon. So everybody knows. Plus, by the way, some of these trades are getting official. Bradley Beal's officially a Sun on paper now, but let me just pull up the trade. Chris Paul was in that trade, right? And people were wondering if Wizards are gonna keep him, not sell him, not soccer, cut him is what I'm trying to say, or like trade him. And they did trade him, and it's definitely not what you expected at that moment, right? The Wizards are trading away Chris Paul for Jordan Poole, so the Warriors, Ryan Rollins, Patrick Baldwin Jr., protected 2030 first round pick. So Wizards do get a first round pick, but in 2030, and a 2027 second round pick. How surprised were you that it
I'm
was the
very
Warriors?
shocked. Very shocked. First of all, I'm confused. I was like,
Is he starting? Is he
how's
on the
this gonna
bench?
work?
Like for me, it's like it's a bench move, but he's
It
making
has to-
30 mil.
Yeah.
It's obviously a cap saving move.
Yeah, it's a cap saving because like
They gave Jordan Poole a max. Obviously, should not have gotten it. I get it. He had a good run in the playoffs. They just rewarded him, but he clearly fell off this year, especially defensively. He's not
he's not great
He's
defensively,
not a great player.
and then decision making as well.
Yeah, right. Like you've seen posts where Steph and stuff was going on, and the Draymond punching factor. On top of that, you're hearing rumors like Jonathan Kuminga's not happy in his role, Jordan Poole's not happy in his role, right? James Wiseman ended up getting traded. So yeah, like obviously Wizards did well. Like let's talk Jordan Poole before we get to CP3 side of things here, since we brought it up. Perfect spot for Jordan Poole.
Yeah,
Like,
like
that team's so bad, you're gonna get buckets. There's like Houston Rockets version. Like last
yeah,
year's Houston Rockets.
you're gonna have a bigger role.
Not in a big market.
The pressure's
No
not
one
on
gives
you.
a shit about
The
the
pressure-
Wizards
the
really,
pressure's
unless
not
you're a
on you.
Wizards fan.
The pressure's not on you right now, right? You have bigger role. You have more chance to develop. No one's gonna overshine you there.
Yeah.
Like how Steph and Draymond and Clay were taking your shine, even Wiggins, right?
Yeah.
Like you are gonna flourish there. Can you bounce back? Yes, I could believe you could bounce back. Obviously, he's gonna have to play good, but he has the bag. He's locked up for like 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Like we know he was good last year, right? The Wizards taking a chance on him, I don't have no issue with that.
Yeah, no, on that side, you got a first round pick in return as well. You got rid of Chris Paul's contract. And yeah, you're getting a bet. If it doesn't work out, you can move on from him in a couple of years down the line, right? Like, it looks like they're rebuilding. I'm happy if they are rebuilding because yeah, that team has been mediocre central,
Yeah.
literally. So, Chris Paul, Warriors. What like? How is this? Like, I get it, leadership wise, sure. Are you starting Chris Paul with Steph, and Steph's gonna go more off ball, which is fun to watch because Steph is just running around the court.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson, like you have a good decision maker, playmaker for sure, when healthy in Chris Paul, but he's up there in age. Was that their biggest need? Is the lineup going to be Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green if they bring him back? We don't know. So is it going to be off the bench and on the minutes? I have no idea.
They're just questions. Like I can't really dissect this. I'm assuming he's off the bench.
It's a 1 year contract right off the books next year. That's obviously the biggest driving factor. They said they're not going to trade him, right? They're
Like
planning to play with him.
I don't think it's gonna like affect anything too much, because they could always move. They could always shuffle the starting lineup, right?
Yeah.
Can they bring Draymond Green back? That's the question. That's my biggest question mark right now, as a Warriors.
Contract wise, right?
Yeah. Because bringing in Chris Paul, you know what the hell Draymond Green's gonna want, right? Because I think Draymond Green wants
He's
something.
looking for 3 years, 100 mil or something like that.
Yeah, because like he's won his chips, right?
Yeah.
He's like now it's just like try to
Cash
get a
out.
bag, hopefully figure out his future and stuff.
Yeah, no, this trade is something I'm excited to see how they're gonna do it because you don't count the Warriors out for sure. Like they tried it with D'Lo, it didn't work. They moved on, and obviously Chris Paul is not D'Lo, that's for sure, right? But he's also 38. He's been injury prone. Obviously, his chance for the chip. I don't think they're winning the championship with this current roster still. I still think they need like another backup big, right? Kevin Looney should be starting for them.
Yeah, Kevin Looney should be starting.
Probably the most underrated big in the NBA right now. But yeah, I don't know. It's a peculiar situation for sure.
Like my first thoughts were like, why? But now I'm thinking about it a little bit. I was like, okay, it could maybe work. But
Steph's off ball more.
Yeah, but then
you're small.
But I'm also saying why again because size is not there.
Yeah, he's 6 foot. Steph's like 6'3". Clay's 6'6". Right, Draymond 6. If he comes back, 6'7" 6'8".
And this also puts more pressure on Klay Thompson to like go back to his level.
Yeah,
as well.
But yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to see this trade. This move for the Warriors.
Just see how it plays out.
How it plays out for them. You know, who for all we know, they could just cut him midway through the season if it doesn't work out because it is the last year.
Yeah.
But then what are you gonna do with that? They're probably gonna obviously find a trade. But let's move on. Because we still gotta get into the NHL. A couple of free agency news. Like I said, Draymond Green was looking like he might be coming back, but Sacramento could change that by giving him a big money role, and him and Sabonis frontcourt is definitely that better role than
as
Harrison
long as
Barnes.
As long as they're not curb stopping each other at practice.
Yeah. Josh Hart has extended, like, not with the Knicks. I mean, like, extended, and Knicks and Josh Hart have extended their like time for the opt-in thing because they're trying to work out a clause to bring him back because he was their he was part of that Cam Reddish trade. So there's that. Naz Reid officially today has signed a contract extending with the Timberwolves. 3 years, $42 million with a player option. Undrafted guy out of LSU. Best season with 11.5 points and 4.9 rebounds. Smaller center. Right, like 6'8" center. And what the hell does this mean for Karl-Anthony Towns? Because, wait, before I let you answer that question, they're paying their trio of centers $443 million combined.
That's insane.
And there's reports that Cat could get traded. So you're not trading Rudy Gobert. That's an untradeable contract right now.
I don't know how you're gonna pull that off.
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know. The Timberwolves ruined it for me by trading for Rudy Gobert, or that much for Rudy Gobert in general. I was just happy the Raptors.
Like, this wasn't like no freaking Boogie Cousins AD situation. Like that I could see that working because they could space each other.
It worked. It was working.
It was working before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not that situation.
This is not because Rudy Gobert.
Because he's just a defensive specialist, maybe. Yeah. In my opinion. Like don't get me wrong. He's a great rim protector.
He's a good player. I'm not saying he's not a bad player, but not fit
that contract or anything.
With that contract and that fit, it's not great.
Yeah. So I think Cat's on the move. I don't know where. Obviously, Boston filled their spot with Porzingis. I don't know where he'll fit the best right now. Whoever needs a stretch big. So hey, send him to Houston. If Houston is willing to go get James Harden and all these guys, and he could just flourish there as their center. But Cat's a good player. Don't get me wrong. Like, he killed it in that Timberwolves Lakers game, but then he's also stupid when it comes to foul trouble. He'll commit stupid fouls and stuff, right? Like,
and it's not like he's the best defensive player either.
Yeah, he isn't. That's why they brought Rudy Gobert, but then that hurts it more for Anthony Edwards because the spacing goes away too. So, yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work, but Lonzo Ball, last thing, after the draft, Chicago press conference essentially said he's out for the next year.
Yeah,
and sucks because obviously I was the guy that said De'Aaron Fox. If I was the Lakers, I would have picked De'Aaron Fox, and it wasn't because of any injury issues or anything. It was more so because of the shot, and I feel like the pressure of his dad, right? He improved after the Lakers. He improved very well, right? Like,
he did.
He was killing it for Chicago before he got hurt. He's arguably an all defensive type caliber player when healthy.
The fit
improved his 3-point shot, and
he's
that playmaker.
Yeah, the fit with him and Levine was good because he was a good defender.
Yeah,
he's a little bit like he's big. He's not like a small guard.
Yeah,
like he's like decently sized, and obviously Levine's defense isn't the greatest. He complements that well.
Yeah,
and then the playmaking, he was able to get the ball to DeRozan and Levine.
Yeah.
Right, the good players, or into the post with Vucevic with a pick and roll. So, like, it's not like Lonzo Ball is bad. It's just that
He's now injury prone.
He's now injury prone,
Exactly.
and
Something
he
up
was
with his knees, like multiple surgeries.
yeah. It's like
It sucks. I wish
It
he comes
really
back in the
sucks.
league because like I had no issues with Lonzo Ball. I had issues with LeVar Ball.
Yeah, like
fucking all
Lonzo's
this
game is
shit.
good. Like Lonzo has a
He
good
improved
game.
his shot for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, like I love watching Lonzo Ball play. Like when it comes to his playmaking, is insane. Like, he's one of the top playmakers. He's one of the top defenders. Big guard, obviously. Right? We watched. That was the one March Madness we watched closely. The UCLA, Kentucky runs, UNC, and all of them. Gonzaga. So yeah, I hope he gets back.
It sucks because
next
now
year.
it's like the
I'm happy he got paid at least.
yeah, it's like the Brandon Roy, Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
That's what it's turning into.
Greg Oden and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
but
in terms of guards,
guards, yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to the NHL here. We'll go over the NBA rumors more so unless something drops. We'll check quickly. But at this late, I don't think so. But you want to go draft preview or do you want to go talk about the trade speculation first?
Let's go to trades first.
Okay, so official trades that went down. First one, the Avalanche. Okay, I clicked the link. Why did it not pop up?
Ryan Johansson.
Yeah.
Avalanche got Ryan Johansson.
For
Alex
Galchenyuk for the rights of Alex Galchenyuk because he's a UFA. And the key thing here is they retain 50%. Nashville retain 50% of the $8 million cap hit. So it's only $4 million for the next 2 years on his contract. I love it for Colorado.
And one more thing, they also get an LTIR bonus with Landeskog.
That's why I love it.
Yeah,
because
they need a second line center.
as long as what you alluded to, Landeskog's out for the next year because of his injury. And
they need a centerman.
They need a center, right? Like last year, that's where they struggled the most. They didn't have.
They didn't have the Kadri
They lost
replacement.
Kadri.
Yeah.
They lost. They couldn't bring in anyone to replace Landeskog, as well. I guess not.
Landeskog got injured.
Landeskog got injured, but he's not a center. I messed that where I'm wrong. But
yeah,
like Rantanen had to be a second line center, and he's not best used as a center.
Yeah, the Kadri was like really good second line center for them. I'm not saying Johansson would be like what Kadri produced for you that year, because Johansson's up there in age.
Yeah.
But he's still gonna get the job done for you. Because at the end of the day, like your top line is gonna be your top line, right? You just need someone to hold down those minutes as a second line center.
Yeah, so for me, it's like I was a huge fan of Ryan Johansson when he was in Columbus and that Seth Jones trade happened, and
then Nashville
he killed it for Nashville that first year, and then I think injuries took place.
Nashville made the finals too.
Yeah, so he like I said, like if you want to go somewhere, you're gonna be motivated to win. Here you go, right? And then obviously Nashville saves up $4 million in cap because they obviously retain for 2 years. So $8 million obviously at the time was a fair contract, but at this point of his career, he's just a power play specialist. So which is what they need because they're missing Landeskog. They got a second line center, or you could also they lose out. Probably gonna lose Evan Rodriguez. So yeah, that's the first trade. Second trade that happened, Kings trade Sean Durzi. I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about him.
Sean Durzi's a decent player.
To the Arizona Coyotes in exchange for a second round pick of 2024.
Oh wow!
So it's next year.
They actually traded Sean Durzi.
I get because they have relief. Because the next trade I'm gonna bring up to you.
They have good defensemen in the pipeline.
He has
because,
one year on his contract.
Yeah, I also remember because all those Demko rumors.
Yeah.
Like they're saying that Kings were a good place for him to trade because Canucks get like good defensemen people like Churkott, right, and who's a forward. Yeah. And then the Kings had good defensemen down in their prospect pool.
And he's also Coyotes could flip him. I mean, he's young, but Coyotes could flip him still because it's the Coyotes. But he's a reliable two-way defenseman according to the Coyotes GM. So the second round pick that's moving is the Montreal Canadiens, the one that they acquired with the Christian Dvorak trade in 2021.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I don't think there's any other trade. Or which Stahl is this? Jordan Stahl is extended 4 years, $11.6 million.
Yeah.
He was due to be an unrestricted free agent after signing a 10-year contract. Obviously 34-year-old, that means 38, but he still did well for them defensively and stuff, matchup wise. So congrats on your money, Jordan Stahl.
Yeah.
Okay, so linking to that when you said they traded Sean Durzi away, this dropped. Kings Jets discussing trade involving Pierre-Luc Dubois. So that answers your question.
Okay, yeah. Kings are in a Dubois.
They need a cap crunch, and they're also a team that needs to pay Korpisalo. If not, go after a guy like Connor Hellebuyck. I don't think that Demko's on the market anymore, but like a guy like Connor Hellebuyck is going to be available. But in this case, nothing. They're talking about it. There's no trade, so I can't even tell you what could be moved. The Jets' return package is believed to include Kings forwards Gabriel Velarde.
Oh,
and
Okay.
Alex Iafallo. So
Okay. Yeah, that's a
who's a pending RFA in Velarde, netted a career high in 23 goals and 18 assists in 63 games, while Iafallo chipped in with 36 points in 59.
yeah. You're definitely getting rid of
You know, Dubois is looking to get $9 million, right? He already announced to them, the Jets, that I don't want to come back last year.
yeah.
That he-
Dubois
and
obviously
obviously the other team, he wants to go to Montreal, so Montreal's also in this
Dubois I think could play on center as a
left
winger.
winger,
Yeah, but I think they're gonna use him as a second line center.
yeah.
But they also have Philip Deneau, who's
Right.
also a
You
good
also
center
have
as well.
old Anze Kopitar, who's still doing well for them.
Yeah, Kopitar is still killing it.
Right. And
So you have 3 centers if you
You
get
got-
Dubois still.
who did they have? They got Kevin, not Fiala. What's the guy from Minnesota? Was it Kevin Fiala?
It was Fiala, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I was mixing up another name. Kevin Fiala, and they have
Kempe, they're like all-star this year.
no, who's the other guy?
Who?
Nashville, Arvidsson.
Arvidsson
I'm
as
not saying
well.
he's a center, but I'm just saying like he also
Like as a wingers, yeah.
So
But
yeah,
like that first line should be, I think, Fiala, Kopitar, and Kempe, right? That is a really good first line. Then Pierre-Luc Dubois slots in as a second line center, and then you have Philip Deneau as a third line center, who's also
yeah.
very good defensively.
All right, let's move on.
Or unless you could pair up Philip Deneau and
Yeah, like
Dubois.
he's before we move on, he is one of the biggest names.
And then yeah, because
Jets are a key thing there too.
Kings
as
were
well.
a power play team, right?
Yeah.
They needed to improve 5-on-5.
Yeah. Moving on let's move on. So Hurricanes Flyers deal in jeopardy for Tony DeAngelo, which is kind of funny because Hurricanes are the one that traded him to Florida. Sorry, not Florida, the Flyers,
Yeah.
and now they're trying to bring him back.
Yeah.
So it's like the deal to require defenseman DeAngelo. Obviously he's like a polarizing figure in the league. Hit a snag Saturday that still needs to be resolved. Flyers were going to retain 50%, so that's where the talks are kind of messed up, fit on the $5 million cap hit, and would have received a prospect in return. So,
Wow.
you know, he was a guy that was paired with Jacob Slavin, right, back when he was in Carolina. They traded him in a seventh rounder in 2022 to the Flyers that year. So they're looking to bring him back. Obviously injuries is a big factor. I mean, you might be desperate if you really bring back Tony DeAngelo, and there's a headache of a case there. But this just shows that Philly's on that rebuild mode, right? Provorov's gone.
Yeah.
So they're clearing out.
Yeah, they're trying to get assets, as many as they can.
And then John Tortorella also scratched him for 5 games last year.
Like the ending.
Yeah, so
like the last 5 games.
And we know how Tortorella is
Yeah.
when it comes to it.
Anything else for NHL news?
There's one more.
What is
Flyers Blues working on a trade involving Kevin Hayes.
Oh wow.
Or ironing out the details on a trade that would send Kevin Hayes, and that's what's mixing up Kevin. And Travis Sanheim to the Gateway City, and nothing else. Flyers would retain another significant percentage of Hayes' $7.14 million cap that is run through 2026. St. Louis planned to trade a defenseman and a first-round pick to Philadelphia. So
Kevin Hayes,
get on it.
Yeah, Kevin Hayes is a good player.
And obviously Kevin Hayes had issues with Tortorella last year.
Yeah,
he was an all-star scratch, which is hilarious.
A lot of it's Tortorella. A lot of people have issues with Tortorella.
St. Louis planned to trade defense. Was that Colton Parayko, Nick Leddy, and Justin Falk weren't asked to waive their respective clauses, according to Rutherford, Jeremy Rutherford, I think it is. And then Torrey Krug is only other Blues defender with full trade protection.
Yeah,
that's one thing I noticed. NHL gives out no moves and no trades like it's freaking Halloween candy or some shit.
Yeah.
So, and then NBA barely has those. Like the top 10 players really don't. I know Kobe had it back then when he had issues. I remember watching the doc. Vanessa Bryant requested that because he was supposed to get traded to Detroit and they vetoed it because of it. But yeah, it's like, it's weird. Obviously, Blues have 3 first-round picks this year, right? So they're obviously trying to come back to it because they're not a rebuilding team, in my opinion. You have a guy like Robert Thomas. You have a guy in Jordan Kyrou, right? You still have an okay goalie in Jordan Binnington. You know, if he's not a hothead.
As long as he's not a hothead.
Yeah. I think that's the last of the news I saw.
So let's get going.
Let's go. No, I want to talk before we.
Well,
actually, we'll tie the Calgary news with the draft in a second.
Right.
But the last thing, in terms of kind of on ice, but not like front office moves, it is the theme night jerseys.
Oh yeah.
That caused a huge headache. I want to get your thoughts on this. So essentially, Gary Bettman has come out and said because of all the distractions of the Pride jersey stuff, starting off with Ivan Provorov, the Stahl brothers, right? James Reimer,
Yeah.
for religious reasons or the Russian factor reasons. Because Kuzmenko obviously didn't wear it.
Yeah.
That they're deciding to not wear theme jerseys, not Pride, all theme jerseys.
All theme jerseys.
So the players will not be wearing them pregame.
Yeah.
But they could still sell for charity stuff.
Yeah.
And players that choose to model it can still model it. So that means when whoever goes to the Canucks games are no longer going to see those sick Diwali jerseys.
Yeah, the Diwali, the Vasaki.
With the last names in Hindi and Punjabi, right? Patterson, for example, had it in Punjabi. It's a whole lot of bullshit, in my opinion. Like, Pride jerseys have been going on for a while. Why all of a sudden it went nuts, right? It's obviously that reason. And I'm not gonna. Again, we're not getting into the political side of things. I don't know what's religious. We don't know anything about that. But like I was listening to Merrick on the Halford and Broad show. He says like, yeah, it's bull. Like the players that don't want to wear it, they should get a penalty for it, right? Like you're preaching hockey is for everyone.
Yeah.
Right. You're preaching that.
Yeah.
Punjabi, Indian, Chinese, Asian in general, First Nations, gay, LGBTQ, and anything like that, right?
Yeah.
You're preaching it, and now you're saying like you can't represent it on the ice. What's the point of that? Like, why do behind the scenes? Behind the scenes, guess what? They're the same guys that are not wearing the Pride jerseys are still not going to be wearing it during, or that are modeling it, and they're going to still bring it a big case. Yes, was it a distraction? Yes, but that's a dumb excuse for not to wear it. Because those jerseys are nice, not just the Diwali jerseys from the Canucks side of things. We went to the Chinese New Year one. You went back.
Like a while back.
Then too, and I went this year.
Yeah.
For the games. That game, sick jersey.
Yeah, they're nice jerseys.
The Black History Month jersey, sick.
Yeah, Black History Month is good.
So it's like, it's stupid. Like, you got Archie Baines who's on the Canucks, adversary for Canucks.
Yeah.
Like voicing that, right? You got Dakota Joshua voicing the Black History Month. You had like Richard Park back in the day as one of the Asian Canucks. So it's like, it's so stupid in my opinion. But yes, is it a distraction? 100%. Because like, they made it into a distraction. Like if they're not gonna wear it, give them a slight penalty. It is what it is, but at the same time, it doesn't matter because you're still saying that it's not because you pretty much chickened out. Right?
Yeah, right.
You backed out of this.
You backed out
because you're promoting hockey is for everybody, and now you're not doing that anymore. And then military nights for some teams that do military nights and all that. So it's like I don't know. I think it's stupid. Those players need to suck it up. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I mean, even if you don't wear it, right? Don't make it a big deal. Like, just don't wear it. Like, don't bring it up and stuff.
The problem is that's where the media.
That's where the media comes in. Obviously, like, there's no point of making it a big deal, right? Because now NHL had to deal with this, right? And now they back out.
Yeah.
That's
and
where
you back up with everything else.
Everything else too, right?
Like it's different if like one team chooses not to do it. But like for example, the Canucks did all nights, like Diwali night, Chinese New Year, Black History, Indigenous, right? Gino Ojek was a big factor. Rest in peace to a legend.
Yeah.
For that First Nation stuff, Ethan Bear is a big talk about that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, yeah, I think it's bogus personally. Like those players that don't want to wear it, they don't wear it. You slap them with a penalty. Those players gotta understand that. Like, hey, we're in Canada, we're in North America. It's for everybody,
like,
right?
The game is for everyone.
Like, I'm sure they don't have like maybe different opinions on people that are around them that are LGBTQ plus, but it's just weird. Like you coming out and saying it like this. That's why some people are saying the Russian factor with McGillney could be a factor. Datsuk's supposed to be like a first ballot Hall of Famer in our eyes. We might not get in because of it next year. That's a whole different story. We're not gonna get into that. But
yeah, let's.
Yeah, I think it's bogus. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing else to say, right?
Like you're still selling it, you're still doing all that. So what the hell's wrong with wearing it on the ice?
Yeah,
right? So
it's
I don't get that.
It's stupid.
But let's go into draft preview. Let me pull up a mock draft. Do you have one or no?
Ooh, not really.
I'll pull up.
Yeah,
one.
you can pull
Craig
up
Budden had one recently. I'll pull that one up. He's like
Yeah.
one of the top guys in there. Bob McKenzie from TSN.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I was going through a Bleach Report one during class, obviously, because I was bored in class. uh,
So
yeah, I was just like
it's
scrolling
titled
through.
"The Fun Starts After Number One." Clearly, Connor Bedard, but essentially the one team. Let's just get into this. We also are looking for moves because, we're obviously gonna talk about the Canucks, but there's like again similar to the NBA. There's a lot of projected moves here. Who's
Yeah.
moving up, down, trading, pick away, right? Cap obviously is not moving up much reportedly. So, the draft, by the way, is on Wednesday. So we'll be Wednesday's episode for us. By the way, just a heads up, will be big because we'll be recapping round one,
Yeah, we'll be
and we
recapping
also
round
have
one.
to talk about the free agency, which is a couple of days after for NBA and NHL. But obviously he has Connor Bedard number one. Surprise, surprise. You know, he's literally
Yeah.
him and Wembanyama were like locks from the minute they were featured.
Yeah.
Adam Fantilli 2, I feel like that's a lock. Leo Carlson 3 feels like a lock, right? The question here now is what's going to happen with Matvey Michkov. And he has him 4 button.
Yeah.
And the reason with Michkov is he's under contract with the KHL for another like 3-4 years. And then obviously we don't know what's happening with the geopolitical stuff. Again, not getting into that. But the big factor here is the contract.
Yeah, like
Is he
the
going to get
KHL
released?
contract.
Can he? Is he, whatever the case is a risk there. But he says number 4 will still go to Michkov because Michkov once upon a time was the second best player at a young age, talent-wise, after Bedard.
Yeah.
Will Smith, not the actor, from USA Development,
Yeah.
is 5th.
There's also like they were big on him as well.
Yeah, so look, those 5 are like the big ones. Then you got like Matthew Wood. I think he's a local guy from UConn. UConn, I mean University of Connecticut, not the territory. Is there? Now here's where it gets crazy. Like Ryan Leonard, USA again. David Reinbacher, the first defenseman off the board.
Yeah, that's
Axel
one.
Sandin Pelika at 10. Kobe Barlow at 9. Canucks take, in this case, Tom Willander, another right shot demon. Zach Benson falling from the projected 5th, 6th because of his supposed size.
Yeah,
Also
yeah.
a local boy. Oiler fan, but local boy. And then, I don't know too much. Samuel Honzek is a guy I look at because he's a giant, and he propelled in the draft class as well.
Yeah.
So, where do you want to start? Do you want to go Canucks? Do you want to go anything? Well, we don't know these prospects too much, but I do have a question in general.
All right, let's go Canucks first.
Okay, so Canucks, here's my question for you. Do you draft for fit or do you draft for talent? Because obviously I don't want another winger. Personally, I don't want another winger.
Yeah, right. It's
But
hard.
the question is debate. You see, because we have that thing with Yelevi. Right? We passed on Kachuk and all these guys after Kachuk for Yelevi. And look what that happened.
Yelevi was fit. For me, I mean, you have right wingers, but the issue is you need left wingers. So that's why wingers.
I think priority is center and defense.
Obviously, center and defense. And then for me, personally, I would go defense because this top 10 looks like it's going to be a forward heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like, realistically, Reinbacher might be the only top 10 defenseman picked.
But here's the thing. How scarce is the right D position?
There's 3 in this draft.
No, I'm saying no. In general.
Oh, in general, yeah.
In general around the league. Because we traded a first away that we got from the Bo Horvat trade for Philip Hronek.
Yeah. First and a second.
Tyler Myers got a massive contract.
Yeah, Eric
Branson got a 4x4 this year.
Yeah.
Right? And he was a 3rd overall pick in his draft. For me, it's like it has to be. You have to weigh out your odds. Like, how good do you think that guy is? Did Benning take Yelevi for the sake of taking a defenseman, and he was supposed to go down low? I don't know how the mock drafts were back then.
I think it was.
Right? Because clearly you got Kachuk. Look at him now. Like, he's arguably a top 5 player in the league now. Right?
Yeah.
And you have other names in that draft class as well. This case, is it going to be a Quinn Hughes situation? But the difference is this: the Quinn Hughes draft was defense heavy.
Yeah.
More so, right?
Because there was like.
Rasmus Dahlin was the first overall pick, and you
yeah.
had like Noah Dobson, Evan Bouchard, and Adam Boquist.
Yeah.
Right? And then Quinn Hughes, obviously. In this case, it's the opposite. The first guy is supposed to be Ryan Bucker, who I would prefer.
Bro,
like for me, if I'm the Canucks, Axel Sandin Pelika is a right-handed version of Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, so like,
you could take the talent.
He is 5'11", 170. Quinn Hughes is 5'10", 180. They're the same size.
Yeah.
Obviously,
the problem is the power play specialist.
Right. Axel Sandin Pelika, there's Tom Willander, and there's David Reinbacher. They're all three.
There's a Russian guy, I believe, who's a left shot D.
Okay, yeah.
That's obviously.
But obviously, we would prefer right shot.
But obviously, if a left shot D's hired, in your opinion, you take that guy.
Yeah, you take him, obviously. But looking at, because for me, this draft, for me, I want free agent to focus on getting a partner for Filip Hronek, like or addition or
because
trade,
whoever
right?
we pick, keep in mind,
Yeah,
realistically,
they ain't
Bedard
playing.
is the only one playing, and maybe Fantilli
Yeah, right.
in the NHL next year because they're going to Chicago, who's gonna suck, and they're gonna go to Anaheim, who's already young and probably gonna suck.
Yeah. So that's why I'm looking for this guy to be the Quinn Hughes partner and really hopefully be the top pairing that this
For the
franchise
future.
needs for the future.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, if you're gonna like trade for someone or like free agent,
If that's the case,
get a guy with
then
Filip
it's
Hronek.
Willander or Reinbacher.
Yeah, for me personally, is obviously if Reinbacher's there, you take him. There's no, he is the best
How much
defenseman
research
in
have you
draft.
done on this draft, by the way?
I've been going through, bro. I'll tell you, I didn't pay attention to that class year. I was going through mock drafts.
I'll be
mock
honest
drafts.
with you. Obviously, NBA not so
Obviously,
much.
I was more focused on a defenseman because a lot of it's like I said, top 10 was
There's
like
also
forward
centers like
heavy.
Dalibor Dvorsky, who Will
Yeah.
Smith and all these guys. If they might fall, right?
Yeah.
And the question is, if Mitchkov falls, do you bet on that talent?
I mean, you might. I think you just
right?
take him,
Zach
right?
Benson is another guy who fell, and he's a
it's
winger.
tough, right? Like I would just focus on defenseman because realistically, obviously, it's a need for us, and
We have a potential guy there.
there's a forward heavy top 10.
The problem is, what if everybody's draft board is different, right? Like Craig Bunn said himself, this is what he thinks is gonna happen, and he's projecting. But Jim Rutherford will have a clearly different board, right? You see with the Colts, for example, look how many times they traded down because their board is completely different.
Because they have like 8 guys.
They have completely different board.
Like with their second round pick, they had like 8 guys. That's why they traded back.
Yeah. So in this case, what I'm saying
I feel like they might have like they have a list.
I
bro.
just don't want another winger. But the problem is,
You might just
you don't
have to take
you don't
him.
want a Kachuk thing all over.
Yeah, you
again.
might just have to
You
take
could
one.
try to package
And-
other pieces, or you trade him down the line.
Yeah,
or
and
whatever.
realistically, like they do need left wingers, right? They have more right wingers. They drafted like I think Klimovich is right winger, Lekramaki is a right winger, right? So if you are gonna get a winger, like there's a little bit of a need for left winger, but obviously center and defenseman is
There's
the
number
big
one
one. Yeah, like I agree with you. Okay, Willander, Sandin, yes, maybe better offensively, right? But the thing with Reinbacher is good at both. Willander is still decent, like with his skills. But the fact that Reinbacher is the perfect fit for us, but I doubt he's gonna fall to us because he's 6'2", 194.
Who knows? It depends on how the draft falls, right? The draft begins at 4, in my opinion. 3,
Yeah,
maybe. I think Fantilli's a lock at 2.
Yeah, I think top 2 are locked for sure.
Right?
And
Leo Carlson, I feel like it's a lock, but then you
Yeah.
don't know about Mitchkov and what happens with it.
Yeah. So that's why like Reinbacher being 6'2", 194, with a guy like I said, Quinn Hughes is 5'10", 180. He's small.
Yeah.
So I would prefer a big guy with him who could
Exactly.
move the puck,
But
right?
here's the thing: Quinn Hughes also did so well after Chris Tanev left with Luke Shen and Noah Juleson. Quinn Hughes has the capability of carrying his own pair, which is what I heard a lot. Filip Hronek on the other side, like you said, focus on the left shot D for that free agency. But if that guy, I think what's his name, Chris Faber, you should listen to him if you can.
Yeah.
He knows these prospects in and out that are in the Canucks farm system and the upcoming draft.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be something for sure. And yeah, I think we need to go defenseman personally if they are projected to be what they're projected to be.
Okay, here's what I'm saying. Like obviously, like hypothetical situation. If there's like a good forward that falls to us and Reinbacher falls to us, I'm going Reinbacher 100%. Right?
It depends on the forward.
Huh?
It depends on the forward too.
I mean, but really,
Like if that Will Smith, if he falls,
yeah, okay, it's tough.
like
But
Canucks
I'm
are
going.
considering trying to trade up for some reason. So I don't know if that's for Reinbacher
Yeah.
or for a Will Smith because we need a center,
Yeah.
right? Or Zach Benson maybe falling. They could
Yeah,
try
but
to
then
go up.
if that forward, whoever that forward is, whether it be Mitchkov or Will Smith or whoever it is, right?
Yeah.
And it's between them and like Willander and Sandin Pellica. Obviously, I'm going with a forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like is obviously.
Did you watch tape on any of these guys or no?
No, I can't break down hockey.
You're just listening to the experts at this case, right?
Yeah, no, but I'm also like looking at it.
Yeah.
Man, because like fit wise, I want to use this pick to get that top D with Hughes, right?
Yeah.
Like I would really want to get
Obviously, it depends on how he develops.
yeah, depend on how he develops, right? I want like this pick could really help us in the future wise, and I believe this management team could do because they're showing improvements for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying like for me, Reinbacher, I just really love like how
Big he is. And like
big and
he's
like he's like he could move the puck, right? And he has good skills, puck skills and stuff. So
That's what they're saying about Willander. And rumors
Willander is
they
that?
said that Willander, they took him out to dinner at the combine.
Yeah.
That was one of the few names. I think Matthew Wood was maybe one. And I forgot the other. It was another winger. I believe they took out to dinner. So I don't know how much of a factor that is.
I
in
think
draft decisions.
I think they just shouldn't go best player available. That's what I project
That's
them
what they
to
did
go.
last year, the Karamaki.
Yeah, I think they shouldn't go best player available.
Yeah, so, and if that's a winger, it sucks. But
I
we
think
haven't drafted a first round pick since Quinn Hughes in the first round, and before that was like Jet Wu in the second round.
like a defenseman.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the first like 2 rounds. Like Elias Pettersson, the defenseman, was like third round pick, and then center was Elias Pettersson.
Yeah.
Right, I think, or if a center falls, you take a center, or if a defenseman falls, you take a defenseman. That you
But
like.
who would you take if a center and a defenseman fall? Who would you take?
Defenseman.
Yeah, I would go with defenseman.
I would go to
too.
defenseman, but again, this is where it's so tricky. With do you draft for need or do you draft best player available? I'm a best player available because you could always trade pieces away,
Yeah, right.
and you're putting them in.
And then obviously like this draft is obviously deep.
Yeah.
Right? Like the fact that Reinbacher might not even be a top 5 pick
Yeah.
is weird
He
to
wasn't
see.
even supposed to be like. I think the early like we're around the World Juniors time.
Yeah.
I think like it was all forwards for like till like the 15th pick even.
Yeah, like it's weird
like-
because it's weird to
Because it's
see.
more forward heavy.
It's weird to see a right shot defenseman like now, especially now.
Yeah, I
be
haven't seen a right
falling.
shot of like other than like that Hughes draft is where like I've seen many right shot defensemen going up because a lot of people reach for these guys.
Yeah.
That's why Ryan Walker's projected to go higher up and Willander because there's you have to pay so much for them, whether it be by trade and then you have to give him a contract, right? So
yeah.
but yeah,
But like obviously like Canucks are like realistically are in the Nate Danielson who's a center, Tom Willander, Sandin Pelika,
Zach Benson.
Zach Benson, Kobe Barlow. They're in that range.
Yeah, that's another good thing they took out.
Yeah.
Was Kobe Barlow. He's supposed to be really good as well. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm intrigued because I feel like this one's like not as fixed as the NBA one, especially with the whole Mitchkov situation, right?
Yeah,
So,
right.
And hopefully I get to catch it. But I want to talk about one team, a Canadian team. That's not the Canucks. The Calgary Flames.
They're in like turmoil.
They're in huge turmoil, which is why I'm talking about draft picks here for that 11th pick. The Canucks might trade away. Who knows? Noah Hannafin is a name that is brought up.
Noah Hannafin, Elias Lindholm.
But in terms of the defense purposes,
or
Noah
defenseman,
Hannafin.
yeah.
Would you trade the 11th pick for Noah Hannafin? And you have to pay him a contract, by the way.
No, I wouldn't.
He could be the Philip
I
Horner
wouldn't trade. I'm not trading another first round pick.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right, I can't.
Yeah, we need a pipeline of something.
We need to develop a prospect pool.
Okay, so go back to Calgary. They're going to be an intriguing team. Noah Hannafin, like I mentioned. You just mentioned Elias Lindholm. According to Frank Cervelli, probably not going to resign. Mikhail Backlund, who has been there for a while. Mikhail Backlund. And Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's
They're
in a
rumored not to come
situation.
back. I don't know if they just want to get out of Calgary, the city itself. They're just like tired of dealing with the whole, even though Sutter's no longer there, that situation. And then, what the hell are Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, and Kadri thinking for signing long-term deals there? Because also Chris Tanev hasn't said anything yet, but he also could leave as well.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like the same as Winnipeg, right?
Yeah, that's another intriguing.
They want people.
PLD might be go, Scheifele, Wheeler.
Yeah, like they want the people want out.
Yeah,
And I don't know how much is that city or how much is it like management or coaching.
city's a big factor.
Yeah,
But because you don't see guys like people giving money for in Vancouver and people are staying here. For example, JT Miller. So
yeah. I don't know. Calgary. I don't think Calgary. I think Calgary are like the Canucks and like the Raptors. They don't want to like rebuild. Like they never.
I mean, they gave
were-
massive contracts to.
Yeah, right. Like
Older
when you thought
players.
Goudreau and Kachuk were gone, we're like, okay,
They're
Calgary's
rebuilding.
finished.
No, they bring in pieces
Yeah.
and then you give them contracts. It would have been a different story if Huberdeau was
I
available.
I believe that they were gonna flip Huberdeau.
They didn't.
They didn't. So like, or they should have flipped Huberdeau, right?
Yeah.
So Calgary's like a team that they don't want to rebuild
Yeah.
type thing. So we don't know if like they might not even trade for picks like Lindholm and like Hannafin. They might just trade for like players who are already under contract.
Yeah.
So they don't have to worry about them leaving.
Yeah. Can't wait for Wednesday.
There's this I don't know who I was listening to when I was coming back from class, and you know how like they have like the Sportsnet 650 had like radio messages in,
Yeah.
and a guy messaged in JT Miller for Elias Lindholm. I think it was Canucks TV with like Satyar Shah and like Riccio.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I mean, it's decent. He's
two-way players.
he'll be fine, but then the issue is that his contract will be just so much bigger.
Yeah.
And he's only 1 year younger than JT
there's
Miller.
No point.
So there's no
situation.
Yeah.
Do you have a question? I thought you had a question that you asked me earlier.
Oh yeah, so it was like which number 1 pick would be better? Would it be Connor Bedard or Victor Wembanyama? I genuinely don't know.
It's tough because who will have a better rookie year?
Who will have the better rookie year?
So here's the way I'm gonna look at this. How are the team around them gonna be filled up? Because Bedard could go crazy, but so can Wembanyama. The difference is Bedard doesn't play 60 minutes. He's probably gonna barely play 20, right?
Yeah.
Wembanyama could arguably still play 35 minutes a game. Arguably, we don't know what the situation is gonna be there, right? And who has the potential winning rookie of the year? Both of them obviously do. I don't know. I don't know who's on that Chicago team to help him.
It's hard, like
Wembanyama could dominate a game by himself because that's how NBA works.
Yeah, NBA you could just take over, right?
Yeah.
But you could also do that for hockey.
But how many spurts?
Like McDavid
are you
style.
gonna come on but are we really projecting Bedard to be McDavid in his rookie year? And we've seen rookie year McDavid go off.
The thing is this, I think Bedard will get goals, but I don't know if he's gonna get assists.
Yeah, because his team's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
Unless they partner him for example, Zach Benson who went.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
So we don't know if the goal scorer is gonna really be impactful. Can Wembanyama could obviously impact his game defensively as well, right?
Again, we've never seen a 7-5 guy.
Yeah, he's obviously rim protecting is gonna be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I'm leaning. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely do not know.
I'm leaning towards Wembanyama just because of the takeover factor. Because he's on the court longer, that could help the team win.
I don't know. I just my gut feeling is telling me Bedard because
Bedard. They're both gonna have pressure for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But Bedard has a good shot.
Bedard might just choke on purpose because of Chicago.
Bedard's shot is just so good.
But then his speed isn't what McDavid's speed was.
But then Bedard could still create, right? It's not like Bedard is like a Ovechkin where he just has a shot.
Keep in mind, both of them are coming into the league playing as men now, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like
Wembanyama's been playing with men.
That's the thing. That's where I'm leaning towards. Yeah. Okay, then I have a follow-up question. Who are you picking if you have
I'm going with Bedard. I just feel like he'll be able to... he'll be able to salvage something.
How much of that is a North Vancouver factor? Local kid.
I don't know.
I'm hoping he does well. I hope Chicago shits it because it's Chicago.
Yeah, no, obviously.
I hope he goes off.
Yeah, obviously. But I think Chicago, has some... Don't they have Seth Jones?
Yeah, but
I know, but I'm just saying, don't they have certain pieces?
What? Who?
I don't know.
They traded away.
I generally don't know. I generally don't know. Who's in Chicago.
So you give me. That's the question I was gonna ask you.
Okay, but no. Here's my thing. I don't know who's in Chicago. That gives Connor Bedard more opportunity to do stuff.
Kidding.
Not Jason Dickinson. Jason Dickinson's not gonna do anything.
Okay, fine. Okay, this is my question.
That's my point.
No, this is my question to you because I was gonna ask you this, but you kind of alluded to it. These two guys are in their rookie contract. 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
How, if you're Chicago Blackhawks and if you're the San Antonio Spurs, and it might be easier with the Spurs because their cap situations in the NBA are easier than the NHL. How much should you just build around them right now because they're they're generational?
Just try to
build they're on the rookie contract. It's kind of like rookie QB situation. Build around them that fill out every possible way for the next 3-4 years. Just build the team around them, and they could probably take you to the playoffs. Let's just say
it's
Austin Matthews did that in his
It's easier for the Spurs.
Obviously, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's easier for the Spurs to do it, but I'm saying should Chicago do the same thing?
I think Chicago's too far out. There's no way.
So you're saying no matter what, San Antonio should take that opportunity. They already have NBA pieces in Keldon Johnson. Right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Wembanyama's gonna be an attraction now.
Yeah.
Especially if he balls out in his rookie year.
No, but I'm saying should they?
I don't think Chicago.
Tim Duncan won in his first year. Now it helps when you have David Robinson.
Yeah, but right? I don't think Chicago should do it because I think Chicago's really I think San Antonio has the better squad.
Okay, I'm gonna name the Chicago roster right now.
Yeah.
Peter Mrazek, Alex Stalock, you know those guys.
Okay, yeah.
Andreas England, Seth Jones, Caleb Jones, Wyatt Kaiser, Ian Mitchell, Connor Murphy, Jared Tamorty. This is the current roster. Nikita Zaitsev. Outside of Nikita Zaitsev, have you heard of any of the other guys? Really?
Not really. I'll be honest. I do not. I don't know who's in Chicago.
Joey Anderson, Andreas Anthoniasu, who got re-signed, Anders Boyerk, Colin Blackwell, Jason Dickinson outside of him, Mackenzie Entwistle, Cole Gutman, Reese Johnson, Tyler Johnson I heard of obviously, Jajar Kara, shout out Siri Punjabi boy, Boris Katchuk, Philip Karashev, Tyler Radish, Jonathan Taze who's bought out now or not coming back, and Austin Wagner.
Yeah, like I don't.
Do you see, like, to your point, that's why I'm picking Wembanyama.
Yeah, I know, but like being.
But okay, like
You're gonna have more opportunity. Like Wembanyama, there's people gonna help Wembanyama, so Wembanyama could take a step back, right?
True, but like Wembanyama could also be LeBron more and take over.
Yeah, I know, but we don't know about that.
Yeah.
The thing with Connor Bedard, it's a must for him, more of a must for him than it is Wembanyama.
With how good Anaheim's young core is, and again, keep in mind, rookie of the year in the NHL could be guys coming up, like how PD came up.
Yeah.
So we don't know who's coming up that will kill it, right? And any that's playing overseas right now or in college.
But that doesn't affect how good you are the rookie year.
No, I'm just saying that they're also going to be rookies aren't in this draft class.
Yeah.
We're just saying Bedard. My question to you is, if Adam Fantilli plays and Anaheim propels to the playoffs somehow, wildcard team, right? And Adam Fantilli has a great year, maybe Bedard had put up slightly better numbers. Who are you giving rookie of the year to?
I don't know.
I value playoffs, and if Fantilli,
but do you expect?
But no, what I'm saying is I value playoffs a little bit more, and that if Fantilli's a factor.
Yeah, but like I don't think rookie of the year should.
It's not. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, but like,
I agree with you.
You shouldn't be evaluated if you could take your team to the playoffs.
Okay, so that's why people are saying when Scotty Barnes won rookie of the year, what big factor is he helped his team get to the playoffs. But people are saying Kate Cunningham should have won it because it was Kate Cunningham but better numbers. Or Evan Mobley.
Obviously, I'm gonna show bias to Scotty.
That's my point here.
Yeah, but this is legit my team.
That's
so obviously,
you're biased. You admit
I'm legit biased.
I'm just saying from the outside looking in, I value the reason why I gave Scotty Rookie of the Year. He was a big factor of why Raptors made the playoffs that year. Right? Evan Mobley was a big factor, but there was a 7 seed and Cade Cunningham was in the playoffs. I 100% agree with you that you don't expect a rookie to carry their team to the playoffs, but if Fantilli does that and he's a big factor for it, I'm not saying he's like, because you're going to have Troy Terry and all these guys, Trevor Zegras there as well. So I'm not saying that. You have to take that into account, especially if they're like a top 3 seed in the division. And he's a big factor. Like he dropped like 30, 40 goals in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Again, I'm saying this is not happening. I don't think that will happen. I still think Bedard will have the better year. But I'm just saying hypothetical situation.
I don't know who to give it to. I'll be honest with you. It's tough.
We'll obviously
because like obviously the.
Like if Chicago's
Bedard,
dead last.
if Bedard scores 30, 40 goals.
Yeah.
And Fantilli scores 30 or 40 goals, whatever, right? If they had the same points, that just shows that Fantilli has a better team.
True.
That doesn't show anything. That's not a knock on Bedard.
Yeah.
So
that's where I'm just saying he's also a factor. Like without his 30, 40 goals, they might not even make the playoffs.
Yeah, but without Bedard's 30, 40 goals, Chicago might get freaking disbanded.
They're not getting disbanded.
I know, right? Yeah. But like I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, that's a good debate though. It's a tough.
Yeah, it's
debate.
a tough.
That's why I brought it up. I'm not here to like actually debate that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's a potential situation, right?
Yeah.
That was the same Scotty argument that happened, but yeah, like for the Spurs side of things, quickly the NBA. Yeah, I would try to get pieces that are in this free agency class, build around them. At least the first year, let's see how Wembanyama plays. In the second year, yes, you try to go all out. Then if Wembanyama kills it, like how LeBron.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Let's move on. I don't think there's anything in the NHL. Let me just quickly check. Any breaking news or anything at 11:45 at night? NHL awards are tomorrow, so we'll be talking about that on Wednesday.
Yeah, and then draft is on Wednesday.
Yeah, nothing really. We'll talk about that stuff after.
All right,
let's go on a quickfire.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, the rest of the soccer is gonna be quick as well, but let's go quickfire. Fight game. Shevchenko and Grasso too.
Yeah.
Valentina Shevchenko obviously lost her belt to Grasso. It's in September 16. I have it noted down here. 1 second.
It's in September.
September 16. They're saying they don't know if it's gonna be pay-per-view or the fight night. I think it's gonna be pay-per-view. It's a title fight.
It's a title fight rematch.
Yeah.
Shevchenko's obviously gonna go hard.
Yeah. So obviously Shevchenko wants that belt back. Go under Nunez run there.
Yeah.
Next up, Canelo Alvarez he moved over to PBC, Al Heyman's group. He's no longer on DAZN essentially. So he left Oscar De La Hoya and now Eddie Hearn. And he'll be fighting one of the Charlo twins, Jamal Charlo. I'm gonna double check if he's the right one.
Yeah.
Because there's Jermel Charlo. One of them's not undefeated. He's fighting the undefeated one.
Okay.
That's all I know. And that's happening on September. Just September. Obviously, what's his name was Canelo was rumored to fight Bivol, but obviously Canelo's the big name and diva factor comes.
Yeah,
from
like
Bivol.
what? There's Bivol. There's also Benavidez.
Benavidez is calling him out, and he's like my age. I feel like he'll get Benavidez next. Obviously, he was trying to fight the Swedish guy Badu Jack came out and tweeted like this guy wants to drain me because Badu Jack's more of a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
And obviously not that. Jamal Charlo is 32 wins and 32 fights. Yeah. So
okay, yeah.
He's fighting him in September.
And then
before we move on, do want to give a massive shout out to, obviously we don't know this guy personally, but we know his dad's fight academy, like karate and all that stuff, boxing. Benit Biesla, obviously more in a not happy news way, but he made his debut in the States, Madison Square Garden, in Matchroom Boxing, which is Eddie Hearn.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he did lose 7th round TKO. Before going into that fight, he fought a month ago. He was 7-0 here in BC. Obviously, I would love to meet him and love to talk to him, bring him on maybe as a guest someday
hopefully.
if you're watching this. But Benit Biesla, you know, a guy, me and you are similar in this. If you know, we have a cousin, Jeevan Badwa, who's in obviously Canada soccer and all that, and he's local, family, not local, just family guy. So we obviously are supporting that just because of family. I just love Punjabi guys succeeding, especially
from Surrey,
right?
because like
and
Surrey's not
even
a
guys from our
town.
high school like Miguel Tomley, like you know him more, not know him, but like you know of him more than I did because he was around your age, right? Like I love watching local guys, especially if they're Punjabi, succeed. Doesn't matter because obviously Jeevan is an exception. He's literally our cousin, but like guys like Benit, I started watching more of his fights. Even his previous fights that he won, just to see how he did. Obviously, I watched this fight last night. It was obviously not a great performance by him, but he's also leveled up, which is what you want to see in this game. Like he dominated everybody here.
Like obviously we want to see like because there's some talent here, right? Like from like the brown community, Punjabi community, right? That like first of all in general, and then in any sport, like they're like obviously. There's kabaddi, there's like wrestling as well.
Yeah, the
right? It's not
brothers, yeah.
Yeah. So there's like it was just fun to see, like it's fun to root for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
like,
obviously and Surrey guys in general, right?
You get a bad rep at times. Just because
of Surrey. Like I feel like I don't know, I just hope that like this could be like, you know, a sports town type thing. Like we could have like multiple.
Baines is killing it now for Vancouver.
Like multiple
Abbotsford Canucks. We obviously got Jeevan.
Yeah, like multiple athletes. Obviously Punjabi community like obviously will hit us more at home, but even in general, like
Miguel Tomley, for example.
Obviously he's not Surrey, but like Chase Claypool is from Abbotsford, and he's a
Abbotsford kid,
played for Pittsburgh Steelers. Now he's in Chicago Bears, and he's gonna produce some stuff there too.
Hopefully, because there's
he will play.
Out that we won't get into that. But yeah, no, Benit Biesla, shout out to you, brother. Keep obviously bounce back. You obviously level up. You've leveled up. It's not easy to do. Boxing is not an easy sport for people saying it. It sucks because obviously the key thing I do want to give a shout out is that he got knocked down twice early. He actually should have gone a knockdown for himself because the other guy it was a double knockdown. But you know, ref easily could have stopped that, and you could have easily gave up. You didn't. You took it all the way to the 7th, and unfortunately, the experience showed inexperience for him.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about the fight game and tactically wise, but we watch it. We try to learn when we listen to professionals. But yeah, shout out to Benit Biesla. I want to see your next fight. Keep killing it.
Yeah.
Moving on. Let's go FIBA quickly.
Yeah.
FIBA World Cup is happening at the end of the summer, right? End of August, September. And Canada, please start announcing your roster because we're just getting USA news here.
Please announce like Jamal Murray and like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Let me find the tweet by Shams. NBA. It is right here, not Shams, but someone else. Paolo Banchero is the latest guy. Addition. So Paolo Banchero, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Brandon Ingram, Jaren Jackson Jr., Cam Johnson, Walker Kessler, Bobby Portis, Austin Reeves, and they need one more player to get a 12-man roster.
Yeah.
There's no superstars. Now I don't know how many more people will commit. Which is a good news for everybody else in the world because Giannis is obviously going to be playing it. I think Jokic might be playing it.
Yeah.
Luka, if all these guys are in. Canada, please. I know Shea might be in. I think Nikhil might be in. Lou, Jamal Murray. I know you just won the championship. Brother, let's get the gold.
if Jokic is playing, you better be playing.
I hope he's healthy, but it sucks that it's a stupid timing. But, Adam Silver was talking about some midseason tournament.
Yeah.
Why not put this as a midseason? Obviously, FIBA is not controlled by Adam Silver, so to be fair, I can't say anything about that. But, yeah, I hope Canada, please not into the roster. I want to see you guys play, the top guys play. There's a huge chance. This USA team is good, don't get me wrong, but they aren't like the superstar team that you know of.
Yeah.
Usually people play in the Olympics because it's also earlier, but I hope Jamal Murray, Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins might be a little tough, but Jamal Murray, RJ Barrett, and all these guys play. Because last time I was excited and everybody dropped out except for Corey Joseph and Cambridge.
Yeah.
So, and this also is qualifiers for the Olympics, I believe. So, WNBA, to be honest, we're just announcing the All-Stars. We haven't watched any this year, but we do see a lot of news coming out. But reason why I want to do this one is because, so the All-Stars quickly, Asia Wilson, captain.
No surprise.
Brianna Stewart, captain.
No surprise.
The rest of the people. Brittany Griner, I could see why she's in as well. Yeah. Chelsea Gray, I think she's killing it there. Jackie Young. These are aces. They're my favorites. Jewel Lloyd from Seattle.
Yeah.
Arike Ugunbale. Neka Agumake. One sec. Satu Sabali.
Yeah.
And now special shout out because we actually watched this person play not too long ago. Won a national championship
last year,
and semifinals this year if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
But Aaliyah Boston is the first rookie All-Star since 2014. And we saw her play in South Carolina. All-Star starter.
Yeah, All-Star starter.
To be exact.
Yeah.
So, shout out to her because we haven't watched much. We
watched a lot more like Women's March Madness, so like that's why.
That's why this is why it intrigued me.
Yeah.
We do watch WNBA when it is on TV at times. I wouldn't sit here and lie and say we watch it every day. But right now with all the news and stuff, we're following that. But the All-Star game, literally 2 months into the season.
Yeah.
But obviously shortened season. Let's move on to the MLB. First up, Ellie De La Cruz.
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks in, dude's been like a stud. You thought Julio Rodriguez was a star last year? Coming in as a rookie at the beginning of the year, this dude already got a cycle.
Yeah.
For those of you guys don't watch baseball like we do, a cycle means you hit a home run, you hit a triple, a double, and a single. Ellie De La Cruz, no Blue Jay has done it ever or in a while at least.
Yeah.
Ellie De La Cruz with the Cincinnati Reds has come in, also who were on a massive win streak.
Yeah.
Hit a cycle.
That's
dude's
crazy.
A speedster.
That's
everything.
Insane. Because
I need to watch some more Reds.
Getting
games.
getting a 4-hit game is difficult itself, but
one of each
cycle, one of each, especially a triple.
It helps when you're in speed. Yes, triple is harder to get than home run for me because home run is just power.
Yeah.
Right. The Reds did lose today, so their win streak did end.
Oh.
Yeah, it was ridiculously long. Last thing for the MLB before we go into soccer quickly here is the All-Star finalists for the starters have been announced. I think more voting will reset.
Yeah.
So which means more Blue Jays could get in that were second place. But congratulations to Ronald Acuna Jr. from the NL and Shohei Ohtani from the AL are automatically starters because they were the most votes for the conference. And the rest of the finalists are... there was a trade we also had to talk about. Remind me.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you have the starters?
The starters? Ooh.
I'll have to find it quickly. I thought I had it saved. That's my bad. But I know it's Vladdy is obviously up there.
It's I think it's Adley Rutschman, right?
Okay, I'll try to find it. Let's talk about the trade first.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
So
Mike Moustakas trade.
Mike Moustakas. So Colorado Rockies to the LA Angels. LA Angels yesterday, so it was Saturday, won 25-1 against the Colorado Rockies. And instantly after the game, Colorado Rockies traded Mike Moustakas, who's like a really good vet. He was really obviously he's like old now, but like he was
really
part of
big for
the
Royals
he
team.
was part of the Kansas City Royals team that won in 2015, won it all, and now they trade him, one of their better players, to the Angels right after the game.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's
Dude.
absolutely
I
jokes
thought
because
trade. I'm like, oh shit, we gotta talk about MLB trade.
it was 25-1, and they traded him right after the game
Yeah.
to the team that beat him 25-1, which is absolutely jokes.
Yeah. I remember him obviously, like I said, for I found it by the way.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. Let me just load to it. But yeah, no, that was funny to me just because like we're watching the College World Series, which was going really well, and then we just saw that. Then all of a sudden, I see a trade from Mike Moustakas in it. Oh wait, let me check if he played today. That'll be hilarious if he just
Yeah,
played.
that'll be.
Another also the top prospect in baseball.
I'll check that.
Orioles.
Yeah.
What'd you call it? Is called up as well. He's playing tomorrow.
Oh wow.
So it's crazy.
The Angels lost today.
Yeah, he didn't play.
Oh. All right, so back to the.
All right, back to the All-Star. Can you search up the Orioles guy? Just type in
Yeah.
Baltimore Orioles on Google.
Yeah.
It might pop up. So finalists for each position: Adley Rutschman and Jonah Heim. Rutschman of the Orioles, Jonah Heim of the Rangers. Sean Murphy for the Braves, Will Smith for the Dodgers. So many Will Smiths in the sports world now. We literally just talked about a Will Smith for hockey.
Yeah.
First base, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and Yandy Diaz. Freddie Freeman in the NL with Matt Olson. Marcus Semien for second base with Whit Merrifield. Obviously Semien deserves it more, I think, but
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if the voting helps Whit. Luis Arias, I don't know if it's voting fully either, by the way. Ozzy Albies, Braves. Luis Arias should be a lock for that. Shortstop, Bo Bichette, Corey Seager. NL, Orlando Arcia, Francisco Lindor, who
Yeah.
came back a bit. Third base, Josh Jung, Matt Chapman. NL, Nolan Arenado, Austin Riley.
Yeah.
Outfield, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Randy Arozarena, Yordan Alvarez, Kevin Kiermaier, and Adolis Garcia.
Yeah.
I believe Aaron Judge is injured, so he might be a
Yeah.
replacement anyways. Mookie Betts for the NL, Corbin Carroll, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Lourdes Gurriel Jr.,
Yeah.
and Michael Harris, and then Acuna would have been the other one, but he's automatically in.
Yeah.
Designated hitter, Otani's automatically in. So it's JD Martinez or Bryce Harper. So
Yeah.
those are the finalists. Go vote if you guys want to vote. Those of you guys that love baseball. So there's that.
Yeah. And the Orioles prospect is Jordan Westberg.
Yeah.
His infield prospect.
This Orioles team is going to be fun to watch in years, and it sucks. as a
Yeah,
Blue Jays
right?
fan right now.
It's horrible.
Yeah, how good they're doing it. All right, last thing. Let's get to some soccer. First off, big news. The Club World Cup has been expanded to 32 teams of 2025.
Yeah.
USA will be hosting the first one, and this will be happening at the end of the season now. So makes sense because you're not going to do it in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Essentially, what this is 2021 to 2025 winners for your region. So as of right now, for the Champions League, that's the one that we watch the most.
Yeah. You got Madrid.
Chelsea, Madrid, and City are in.
Yeah.
So now 2024 winner will be in,
Yeah.
and they will be playing in that. Seattle Sounders are
They
going
will
to be in as
it.
well.
Yeah.
So that's for that. Whitecaps get on it next year.
I doubt that
But-
happening. They already
Because
lost.
they won the Canadian Championship, so they have a chance at it.
Oh, they won this year. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's news for that. USA is hosting the first ever
USA is hosting a lot because they got
the World Cup with
World Cup,
Canada
they got
and
Club World Cup, they
Mexico.
got Copa America as well. So they're hosting 3 big events.
Let me just see if there's any more news to that before I move on to the Women's World Cup quickly. So Real Madrid, City, Chelsea,
Well, those are the only teams we realistically know, right? It's
Yeah.
probably a bunch of Mexican
Seattle Sounders are in.
teams from Mexico because they usually dominate the CONCACAF Champions League or Champions Cup now it's called.
Europe with 12 teams and South America with 6 are the only continents with more than 4 entries each. So there's more teams.
There's more teams, or maybe league winners. I don't know.
I think these are the Champions League winners for sure. Already.
Yeah, Champions League would have
Old
to be
ones.
in.
Now it
Yeah.
could be maybe league winners, like you said. So we could see your club in this, which is I'm intrigued to watch. I have never really watched a Club World Cup because usually the
Yeah.
European team wins, but
Yeah.
and it's in December, some random time. But
Oh wow.
Canadian women's team. So Canada, this is for you. There was rumors that Canada women might not go play the World Cup if their ongoing dispute wasn't figured out. But for now, Christine Sinclair has said Canadian women's team will sign temporary pay deal. So it's not resolved, but it's temporary before the World Cup, which means Canada should be there. They got new jerseys, thankfully. That's at the end of July, right?
Yeah.
And it's in Australia, New Zealand, so time zones, be prepared for that.
Yeah, it's like at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning
Right.
for us.
Yeah, even if you're American too, depending on where you are, like 3,
Yeah.
4 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. Obviously, I'm excited to watch. Canada should be a favorite. Hopefully, this distraction is out of the way now. So we move on from there. But obviously, the dispute is not fully resolved.
But
And I hope it's resolved when they come back because, in my opinion, as much as people want to shit on women's sports, when it comes to Canada soccer, women have carried soccer in Canada more than the men have. So definitely, I understand that more was watched for the men's side of things. But again, we don't know what the whole Canada soccer business side of things. We don't want to drag that out for you guys because it is some boring stuff. You guys could search it up.
Yeah.
Last bit, transfer news and rumors that have come out. First up, Al Hilal could not get Messi, so they decided to get the second best option. Ruben Neves has officially signed for Al Hilal.
Yeah, it was already mentioned before.
Yeah, but this
This is official, yeah.
There's also rumors that he could be going on loan to like Newcastle still.
Oh, wow.
So, not sure how true that is, but that's what I saw. Sandro Tonali was forced his way out of AC Milan, and he signed a.
He forced his way out, or
No, AC Milan forced him out.
yeah, Sandro Tonali is a good player.
And 70 mil, which is I see why they forced him out because they probably need the funds. To Newcastle, which is a big signing for them.
Big signing for Newcastle.
So there's that one. And the last one that I have right here is Sergio Busquets has joined his buddy Leo Messi at Miami.
Now, but can they revive Miami because
Miami's on like a massive losing streak.
and they're dead last?
Yeah, and fans are showing up to come watch, and they get baited because Messi's not playing till July 17 most likely.
Yeah.
Other news, first one before I open up the Twitter, Declan Rice is not done with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Man City want to hijack that.
Yeah.
So there's news there. Another one, you're gonna be pissed. Guardiola, your favorite center back,
Oh yeah.
also agreed personal terms with Man City.
He's also.
I don't want to hear no money bullshit from any other clubs now.
Yeah, right. Like obviously, Man City's gonna always breaks the bank.
Rumors are,
And Guardiola's gonna be expensive.
yeah, memes are that like it's gonna be the new Bundesliga essentially because of the way City's rolling.
Yeah,
now.
right. Like it's actually getting annoying now.
Man United put a second and third bid for Mason Mount.
Didn't go through.
Did not go through, and now they're trying to get Saicedo or other targets, which I'm fine with, because Chelsea are trying to get a Man United tax, which I still believe exists. Because how do you quickly agree to a deal with Kovacic for 35 mil and Kai Havertz while Mason Mount's in the last year of his deal, and you're trying to fork out more money? Obviously not possible. 55 mil.
Obviously, you could just wait a year, right?
Yeah, and Mason Mount is forcing his way out, unlike Harry Kane. So
Yeah.
I respect him for that. Let me just quickly pull out the last bit before we close out, if I see anything. Transfer news live. Man United are considering moves for Kudus, who is linked to Brighton.
Brighton, right? Mohamed Kudus is like really good in the World Cup.
Yeah.
And obviously really good for Ajax as well.
Roberto Firmino on the verge of Saudi. So is Bernardo Silva could be on the verge of Saudi.
Wow, Bernardo Silva as well.
Yeah, I think nothing big.
Nothing major really happened, right?
Yeah, Man United put valuations out, but doesn't matter. Adrian Rabiot might re-sign with Juventus.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, nothing from. This one. Arsenal and Ajax are working to get Jurrien Timber done, and Jurrien Timber has reportedly agreed personal terms with Arsenal.
Oh wow!
So that's a big center back signing.
I could also play right back as well.
Saliba was hurt a bit last year.
Yeah, Saliba did get injured. That's also another reason why.
And he could play right back. So you have Ben White. But
yeah, that's another reason why Arsenal fell down with Saliba injury.
And then like we talked about the Chelsea one last time, right? Edward Mendy and all these guys.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Koulibaly's officially gone. So yeah, Saudi's putting a lot of bids out, and then PSG are in talks with Lucas Hernandez. But yeah, nothing crazy right now. So I don't want to waste time reading all of this, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. you guys watched
Obviously,
this
there's
much.
like double draft.
Yeah, Wednesday or Thursday at the time of releasing. Be ready for that one. We'll be going over the free agency targets because free agency starts at the end of the week and NHL round 1 draft. Any rumors, any trades, Thursday's pod is not to be missed. Make sure you guys come back for that one.
Yeah.
But other than that, if you guys made it this far, like, comment, and subscribe. And also check out the tier list video.
Yeah, check out tier list video, EPL and NBA.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll give you guys, for all that support, we'll be dropping an NHL one by the end of the week as well. So we'll just give you that right now because the support on the NBA one was pretty massive. So,
yeah, so thank you guys for that.
Other than that,
that's pretty much it.
And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.